What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Okay, you're on the route to home, man. All right, good. Sounds good. Have a safe drive. Welcome, everybody, to the stream. Hopefully, we can get some good conversations in. As usual, we will go however long we can get conversations going. And if this just turns into a stopping by and saying hello for 30, 40 minutes, that's cool too. So we will get started. Just making sure everything's set how I want it. So today's topic is on the screen. It kind of just adds up to everything that we've been talking about lately, all my videos, all 300 and something of them. Can't believe I've made 300 something videos. That and we usually just stick to Christianity just because that's just where we're at, man. So a lot of what we talk about with the Bible really just comes down to the way God is described in the Bible just doesn't make logical sense, right? So that's what we're starting with today. Hope we have some fun. Even if we don't get any callers, we can have some little chats with each other, right? And we'll go from there. So I did have a video out earlier today. You guys don't forget to click your buttons, all that good stuff. Helps me out. Channel's been growing, so you guys have definitely been doing it, right? Whether you're spreading the word or whether you've been watching my videos in support, like I've been gaining a lot of subscribers and views. So I appreciate you guys for that. Just want to get my message out there about being able to communicate with people with different beliefs. And if you are going to try to convince anyone, I am more of the type where it's just like, let's just convince each other to be honest at first. Maybe stop trying to convert each other and let's just start being a little more honest, right? So that's what I'm all about. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. Seems like other people are enjoying it because, as I said, channel has been growing. So once again, just to keep the channel growing, click your buttons, all that good stuff so we can keep moving, man. We need more positivity in this world. So even if I disagree with you, like I will call you out, I will ask for evidence, but I'm going to do it in a very kind way, which is usually walking down the road with you. So yeah. All right, so let's see here. We've got leave my elevator alone in the house, Buck in the house. Cool. Nightbot in the house. Be sure if you've never commented before, don't be shy. All right, say hello. At least do a little wave, you know. I won't call you to the front of the classroom, so you don't have to worry about that. So we will see who we get in here today. So you guys, let's start off. I think some of you already told me about your Monday. You know, how was your day? Any interesting debates you've had? Where you guys at? I'm always curious if you guys are like me, where I'm always like having these kind of discussions with people. So I'm always that guy in different chats, you know, like typing into the comment section. It'd be funny to watch, like, as our channel grows here, to go back and look at some of my comments and other people's videos, right? So it's kind of funny when I think about it. But I do. I'm one of those guys. I will comment in the video and give my opinion. It's kind of why I started doing this, because I always was like, oh man, they should have said this, or oh man, they could have made this point in the discussion. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start making videos about that, right? All my videos are like that, where it's just like, oh, if I was listening to this and I was able to say something to the two speakers or the debaters, however you want to put it, I would say these things. So like that's literally what I turned my videos into. So pretty fun. I do enjoy it. Now I got a couple videos I'm working on. So after this, whether this is short or long, I'll have another video for tomorrow, hopefully 2 for tomorrow. And that's the plan for now. So I guess my question for anyone here that's going to speak, right? Like, it would be like, what is the first Bible story that like made you like wait, like be like, hold up, wait, this doesn't make sense. Even if you found apologetic for it or whatever the case is, I'm just curious on what that is for you guys. There's I mean, obviously, there's just some videos that are from the lives, and then I have just a couple of debates I was watching and looking at. There's one that I saw that I want to do. It was Mike Jones and God dang it, I forgot the guy's name, but he has that Myth Vision channel, right? I think everybody knows him. He's a very popular guy, and they were having a discussion. So I wanna finish watching that one, and then kind of see what I can go from there, or what I can do with that. Literally, what I do, I spend so much time watching these debate videos all the time. Like that's literally everything in my YouTube feed. Occasionally, I'll have to just watch something else just to shift my YouTube feed a little bit. Talking Snake, yeah. God exists out of time and space. That's a good one. Like, what does that even mean? How would we even know? I was talking to a buddy of mine at work today, and he's been telling me, giving me a little credit, maybe too much credit or whatever, but he's been like, man, you definitely made me rethink a lot of the stuff that I believe, right? You know, I was like, that's all. I'm not trying to necessarily convert anybody to anything, but I just want people to look at what they believe in a very honest light. So things like that are just awesome for me to hear. I love hearing those things where I get comments where people are like, "Hey, man, I've never really thought about that. I'm gonna think about that because of you." And to me, that's awesome. Oops, sorry. I did watch some of a live, and I don't know if I have a too much of a critique yet. I need to watch more. I think I kind of like the end of something, but I do have it on my schedule now. I think that's the person we're talking about. Oh, golly. I did just get off work, so I'm kind of winding down. What's funny to me, Buck, when people ask that question about the Big Bang, where it's just like, well, where did it come from? It's so weird to me that the obvious conclusion, or sorry, not the obvious conclusion, but the obvious contradiction. Because if you're asking me that, you most likely believe in a God that came from nothing, right? That was just always there. So I always feel like the believer that says that at some like great point is being dishonest. I really believe that. Like they're just being super dishonest when they're like, well, where did the Big Bang come from? It had to come from an uncaused cause. Why? Why can't it be the uncaused cause, right? If you were being an honest person, that would just be the uncaused cause. It's literally the only, we don't have proof of a God, right? So why haven't you come to that conclusion? So anytime I hear that on any of these debates, I think the person's just being dishonest. I used to give people more credit, but I found that it's weird because people are a little bit smarter than they pretend to be if they want their belief to be true. I know everybody always goes around like, oh, everybody's just dumb. People are dumb. It depends on what we're talking about. People are dumb when they want to be dumb. That's something I've come to learn. Like when you want to be dumb, you will be dumb. And then you'll see somebody be smart when they want to be, not when they want to be right, but you know what I mean? Like I don't know how to word it, but I think a lot of these people are choosing to be dumb or ignorant when they want to be ignorant. Definitely crazy that you can call out other gods. That's that God logic video that we just did, right? Where they were arguing, and it's just like you guys are making good points, but put the mirror up and make those same points towards your God as well. I really think it's just scary for a lot of people. But like I spoke of before, you can't lie to God anyway, so you might as well just be honest. And I think there's a lot of people that think if they lie out loud, that somehow it makes them feel better because some of the stuff people say as reasons, they just don't make sense, man. Like I said, it doesn't add up. A lot of this shit ain't adding up. Well, I think you choose to be dumb when you're scared of something, right? I always bring up the cheating spouse, right? Some people know their spouse is cheating on them and they will just be dumb, man, because it feels better. It just feels better. I don't know what to say. Sometimes it just feels better, man. And facing the truth can be a very, very tough thing for people to handle. I bring that point up a lot. I think a lot of this is just the fear of like the fear of being like outcast as well, right? Not just the fear of there actually being this being that's gonna come down and smite you, but just the fear of losing your social network can be tough for people. Losing or being looked at strangely by your family can do the same thing. So that's why the book is so powerful. If you notice something, and this is part of why God doesn't add up, God's love is fear. I don't know if you guys ever thought about that, but when every like you talk about love in the Bible, I don't really see too many loving things. They're very, even Jesus's crucifixion, which is supposed to be loving, is one of the most horrible stories you really could ever imagine, right? Like it's not as beautiful as I was trained to think it was, right? That's a horrible thing. That's just a horrible thing, right? I don't know. And it's always presented as this beautiful thing, but that's not cool, man. Like, why does there have to be a blood sacrifice? Oh, In reality, it's because the cultures of the time believed that blood needed to be spilt in order for um, to be absolved, right? Like this was a part of ancient cultures. And this was just at the end of all of those things, right? They were still a part of it, though. That's why it was a part of it. That's why you go further back into the Bible, you see more blood rituals. And then it slows down a little bit as people get more sophisticated, as society starts growing, as culture starts changing, right? We see a little less sacrifice. All of this adds up to the story on why the Old Testament and the New Testament is this gradual transition into civilization, right? So, Karaku, thanks for the sub. I'm surprised you weren't subscribed yet. Thought you were, but thank you. I know you've been in here a couple times. But if you guys get what I'm saying there, to me, if you really just look at the story and read the story for what it is, which is tying it to the culture that wrote it, that's what you should do when we're talking about writings, is you look at who was writing it, when they were writing it, and you can kind of get why they were writing it. Yeah, maybe I don't know. I do this game where I know some people don't like it, but I'll try to pretend that okay, God is for real, right? Like God's real. Then what we have in the Bible is just not true. Even if God is real, the Bible doesn't have it right. So that is how I first got on my journey. I hate using that word. That's how I first started thinking about these things because I was like, okay, even if God is real, this book can't be what God is because it doesn't make any sense, right? So, because it truly makes no sense to me that for there to be an all powerful being that is loving, remember that's the key, right? So, if there's an all powerful being that is all loving, then there's no need to do everything we're doing. And now, if there's an all powerful being that is like not loving, but just neutral or evil, or it wouldn't be all powerful, sorry. So if there's an all powerful being that's like neutral or just evil, now this world makes sense. This world doesn't make sense with an all loving one, though. All loving and all powerful, this world makes no sense. There's no point to it, right? Like there's just no point to it at all, right? Like there's no point for us going through all of this to get to heaven later. We're talking about an all powerful being that, if it wants us to learn something, could literally just have us learn it without this, by the way, right? So it's like I said, it just doesn't add up, man. Like no matter what, it doesn't add up. Anytime anybody tries to say it adds up by making God into human like, that's the only thing, that's the only way you can make the Bible make sense is by turning God into a person, which is maybe why Jesus is a thing, right? It's the only thing that would make God make sense, right? Like God has to somehow be able to be not powerful, or sorry, all powerful, right? Because like it doesn't, like, why would God need to sacrifice himself to himself? Why is God a him, by the way? Like why, like all of these things just, it makes no sense at all. I actually hate calling God a he because men are already considered just evil as shit anyway. So it's just like, I think people call God a he because God is an asshole and people think men are assholes. So I don't know, man. Like women could be assholes too. Why can't God be a she? Right? I'm joking, not joking, by the way. We willingly came here. Wait, what is this? Is this what you believe, or this is what you heard, or something? Oh, probably the best reason. Yes, I heard this reason too. Like, this is like a playground, right? I don't know if it's considered a playground, but I think I heard this before. It sounds like some Gnostic type stuff, but not agnostic, but Gnostic. I don't know if that's exactly it, but where it was like, I don't think it's true, but it makes more sense, right? That we are these eternal souls, right? I don't believe this. This is like we are these eternal souls that just wanted to go build a place to go play around with, right? Hey, what's up, Patal? Welcome back. Maybe we can get you in here today. Maybe we're in a simulation too, right? Who knows? All I know is the Bible guy doesn't really make sense, man. I would love somebody to come talk to me about that. Buck, you say you actually agree? I agree the Bible doesn't have it right. I'm curious. I know you said you'll call in when you get home. So I'm curious to your thoughts on this. So that's cool. Keep driving safe, though, of course. Yeah, to learn as much as we can about the material universe. It's interesting. It's interesting, man. And I love these things, right? I wish there was a way, like, as a world population, we have so much petty shit, right? And the religious shit is petty to me as well because there is no proof that your religion's right. I want to tell you this right now. Everybody that thinks their religion is right, you have zero proof. So, with that, let's just start to have conversations. Let's truly try to figure stuff out. Like, let's test things, right? Like, I think everything like the Catholics be saying, the Vatican says that are true should be tested, right? They should be forced to test it. If you say you can do miracles, I don't know. I don't know how we do this, but you should be forced for it to be tested, right? I want to know if you can heal somebody, by the way. Like, because now to me, you have a bigger responsibility, not to build big cathedrals, all that other shit, but to go heal people. Right. So it's just like there's so many ways that this shit doesn't make any sense. And that's why I'm saying it doesn't add up at all. Like shit don't add up, man. And I wish I could snap my finger like Thanos and create a society where these things were true, where it's just like, okay, you say you're psychic, prove it now. Like just prove it now. Right. I like the guy, James Randi. Have you guys heard of James Randi? Like I like that guy where he was just going around saying, "Fine, I'll give you $1 million if you can prove it." That's how we need to start being, man. People make claims, you need to prove it. And if you can't prove it, get over it. Like don't call somebody else names or call somebody else evil because you can't prove your shit. Like that's really starting to get on my nerves, by the way. Oh yeah, the dude that tried to bend the spoons and he couldn't bend the spoon. I forgot that guy's name, but he got away with it. I think he still is a thing. Like he was like super popular. He got caught on TV because he couldn't bend the damn spoon. I forgot the guy's name, by the way, but I remember watching a documentary about him. I want to say sometime last year. Yeah, Yuri. Yes, that's his it. Yeah, we would lose half the population of the universe. You know what my Thanos snap would be? This is my Thanos snap, right? If if you truly knew that what you believed was not like you really didn't 100% believe it, but you walked around and telling people you 100% believed it, you snapped. You're snapped out. I just want people to be honest, man. That's all I want. I'm so simple. Like I just want more honesty about, especially about these kind of things. I'm not this type of person that's gonna say you should never lie, because I can think of plenty of circumstances where your ass should lie. And I would tell my kids that as well. But when it comes to these things that really don't affect anything in a way, right? Like we don't have to lie about it. Like whether there's a God or not, it doesn't seem to actually affect anything. So we don't have to lie about it. Like you just don't know. It's okay. You don't know. And if you do know, I need to put you on a lie detector. We need to just test the shit out of you. If you're saying that you know something, you need to be tested. And if you can't prove it, shut up. Like that's kind of how I think about it. If you think they're a ghost, if you think all these things, like shut up unless you can prove it. I don't mind talking about the stories and stuff like that because to be fair, if you know me, I love hearing like ghost stories and all those things. But if you were to start marching around and you gain some authority and then now you're making rules or affecting other people off of what you believe that you can't prove, I got a problem with you. Oh, you had somebody? I would love to hear that. If you had, I would love your friend to tell me that story. If he says what it was like to be out of his body. I had surgery once, and it was weird too for me. I don't know what happened, but I was put to sleep or whatever, and like I swear I was like awake during it. Some of it wasn't, but there's plenty of things that can account for that feeling. I've had buddies that told me that they were in a motorcycle accident and literally don't remember anything. So, you know, like he's not even, I mean, we were kind of acquaintances, but he was telling me the story. He's like, yeah, I got in an accident, don't remember shit. So I'm not scared either. Cause I asked him, I was like, are you scared of riding your motorcycle now? He's like, nope, because I don't remember it, which is kind of interesting as well. I used to love that James Randi stuff. I mean, when we're talking about drugs and those kind of things that manipulate your brain, that just is what it is. I know I recently was watching something where they were talking about how in the ancient culture of the biblical days, they would actually take drugs in order to talk to God. It wasn't worded that exact way, but it's technically like that. Nobody ever talks about that shit. You remember drugs weren't taboo like they are now. Like people were taking fucking hallucinogens back then, and you did it to have some experience. And that's like I think that's a pretty known thing. So how do we not know that's what was going on? How do I know that? Oh, I don't know, which is why I just go off of the proof we can, or to go off the things we can prove. He said a strong magnetic force pulled him back to his heart. I mean, that's interesting. Like I said, I'm all for hearing people's stuff, hearing people's experiences. I have no problem with that at all. DMT hit after birth and before death, so people have crazy stories. Yep, that makes sense. I said it's just easier to have these kind of conversations with people that are just honest, man. Like I truly have no problem with listening to those stories. Yeah, good for him. He can walk again. That's what's up, man. I know another time I was like I got knocked out. Like I was playing with a friend and I slipped and fell and bashed my head. And I remember just like it seemed like it was only a second, But my friend said he thought I was dead. He said my eyes were closed for like a minute. But to me, I remember going like bam, and I was like that. But he said no, bro, you were on the ground for like a minute. That's a long ass time, by the way. Probably why I'm so crazy right now. Happened to me long ago. Got a big knot in the back of my head. That's why I gotta have my fro. Yeah, the NDE stuff. I try to look at it a lot. I'll look into that. Let me take a note. Sam Parnia. Get my notepad out. Got to erase all these other ones. Got a new topic today. So Sam. I'm looking for some books too, by the way. I need to get my reading going. It's been so long since I actually been reading, so I want to get back into that. It actually just keeps you from getting too old as well. So I've if you are subscribed or have notifications, you see that I posted asking for what books you guys would consider for somebody's trying to get back into reading. So appreciate that. I know a couple of, or one of you, I think it was anonymous. Was it anonymous? Somebody messaged. Maybe it wasn't anonymous. I can't remember. So yeah, want to get some books, man. Start reading it up. All right, so let's see if we can get somebody in here. Looking for like theology books, anything. Yeah, probably like theology and then political books, stuff like that. Logic books as well. I know that's like a big thing people like to come on here and talk about. All right, so all right, we got somebody backstage. Cool, man. Buck, give me 2 minutes, brother. I'm gonna go run real fast and get me some more orange juice, and I'll be right back, and then we'll have Buck up. All right, here we go. Got my headset on, messed up my hair now. And we're gonna talk to Buck. Let me see here. I got my. That's not one. Let's see. Where is? Oh, I got to do this and pop out. There we go. There it is. All right. Let's bring Buck up. Hey, Buck, how's it going, man?
Oh,
There you go. There you go. There he is. Good afternoon. At least it's afternoon for me. I don't know if it's nighttime for you or whatever.
oh no, it's evening.
Evening. All right.
I'm in mountain zone, so Colorado.
All right. Nice. How's the weather?
Just rained, so it's a little chill, as opposed to the heat that we had coming down.
Okay, got you. I forgot it does get a little hot there too, right?
Oh yeah, that's a funny thing. Everybody thinks that it's always 90 below here. No, it gets hot.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Does it get I haven't really lived like I think when I was a child I lived in the snow in Utah, but I don't remember that crap. Um does it make it hotter when like the sun's reflecting off the ice, or is that just going to be cold or snow, I should say?
Um, no, it's still cold, but what it does is when the sun is reflecting off of it, is it puts the sun on the ground instead of. Yeah, so it's everywhere. So yeah, sunglasses are a must.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Everything's just like shooting at your face.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Interesting. All right, man. What did you have on the topic today?
Well, you're right. It doesn't add up. And I, my logic behind that is that, well, because God didn't write it. So um and humans, as logical as we try to be, tend to be very emotional and tend to stick to that more than logic. Since we wrote the book, we're the ones who are arbitrating the story. Like you said the other day, is are we speaking for God? And I'm like, yeah. Who else could talk for him? He's not coming down. Like you said, he's not coming down and checking in with us.
Do you have an idea why not?
What's that?
Do you have an idea why God would not come down and talk?
Hmm. No, not exactly. I mean, uh, maybe it's an ability thing, that he just doesn't have the ability to cross over, if that makes sense. I mean, or at least in a. Let me rephrase that.
Okay.
I've All right. If I remember correctly, you mentioned that you were raised up Catholic, right?
No, not Catholic, but I was raised a Christian. I believe we were be considered
Okay.
Baptist.
Okay, Baptist.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Lord's Prayer, as I remember when I went to a Catholic high school.
Our Father without heaven, be the name, kingdom
Yeah,
come. Okay. Yeah.
that whole thing there is a. If you go to Catholic church, you say it every Sunday. You say it probably every day. You say it on the regular, and and I learned it in a Catholic high school. But later, as I was delving into my studies as to what is this God thing and what is Jesus and what is all this, uh, I heard the prayer more as a process, or as a formula, as opposed to a um, liturgy, if you will, or incanting. Do you know what I mean?
Incantation.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
say, you're not incanting something. It's impersonal. if you're saying these things as, you know, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. I mean, what does hallowed be thy name mean? You know, what does it mean? Well, later I found out what the example really gives you, and it says, first of all, I mean, from my
This is
understanding,
a
first
this is
of
a
all,
good question, real fast. Like, and maybe you've answered this before. I know we spoke once, right?
that's
But
correct.
okay, so it sounds like you already answered this, but I want to be clear, just for your sake. You are not saying God is obviously not all powerful to you.
Well, I mean, you know, I don't know that I totally believe he's all powerful. Um, but he has the, but I believe that he has the power that we need, if that makes sense. Maybe not, but he has the power that we need in order to get to him. But I do think it is
That's an
on
interesting statement. I
our
don't know if
part.
I ever heard it that way. So he has a
I believe
power.
it. Well, he. Let's see. I like talking to you because you make me sort out what I'm thinking.
Yeah, sure, good. I take it as a
um,
compliment.
you should. The idea is, for me, I guess the grandiose of his power is irrelevant. I do think he has the power to manipulate things, but I don't think that stuff is important. I don't. I. So crossing the Red Sea to me is not the same thing as a miracle I would need, because I don't need to cross the Red Sea, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
What would be your equivalent of that?
Well, I mean, working as a musician, getting that great gig, or as a warehouse worker getting a promotion, or as a cook getting to be called head chef. I mean, there's stages in our development
That's
as we
interesting
learn.
as far as the and this is always interesting to me, right? So if you believe, those would be proofs to you, like for God, right?
Well, I was trying to, as I was trying to explain, the Our Father is a prayer that is a formula, not an incantation. Meaning that what we want to do is we want to present ourselves to God and recognize His His um, glory. Hallowed be Thy name. Um, then we want to uh, thank Him for the things that we've been blessed with, and there's plenty to be blessed with, and that's a key thing, is that people don't look at their blessings, whether you're an atheist or anything.
What
Uh,
what about the people that I would say have nothing that's happy in their lives, right? Like there's some person in a cage right now that I would never say should be thankful for anything.
but there's people who can live thankful in that situation. Not
Now,
everyone.
if they
Not
can,
everyone.
right? If they
Not
can,
everyone
that's
can.
different. No, but if they can, that's different. But I would still never say I would expect them to be thankful.
I don't know that I'd expect it, but I mean, from a human condition, it's hard for us to be thankful when we feel like we don't have anything to be thankful for.
Well, not even feel like, I'm saying there's situations where it's just obvious we would grant the person to that, no, you don't have to be thankful for shit. Like that's what I mean. Like literally, there's someone in a cage right now that they can barely move in, and they're stuck there, being tortured. Right? Like I do not expect that person to be thankful for anything besides having what they call it,
Well, didn't they
where
have?
you're thankful for your
They had.
captors.
They had. They had some amount of life before they got drug into the cage, I'd imagine, right? So I mean,
I would say we're probably being nice because our lives are probably better, but there are a lot of people that are automatically born into some type of slavery, even now.
right? But
Right.
there's a lot of people who can be born into that slavery and be fine with it, and say, "This is my station, and I'm happy with where I'm at, and I've got what I want."
Yeah, are they fine with
Um,
it or are they just coping?
maybe they're settling, but I mean, I guess settling would be fine with it.
Right,
Uh,
but
uh,
that's like not having a choice. So as a person that recognizes they would never have chosen that, I say it's a horrible state.
and I
Just
wouldn't
because I
argue.
can. Oh, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't argue with that. That you're right. If somebody's not in a great situation, I would certainly feel sympathy for them, no matter what kind of gratitude they had for the situation they were in.
Okay, so my
If I
point to
saw
this,
somebody,
so it doesn't seem like I'm just saying randomness, is because in our first world, usually we praise God for these very weird things, right? Like it's always strange to me to praise God for winning a basketball game or
so so
something like that, knowing that
I,
there's starving children. I would rather God, hey, let me miss this shot, God, so you can go
I,
feed the starving
I agree
children.
with that, but if you think about things that Paul said, I'm thankful for the thorn in my side because it reminds me I'm human. It reminds me of my humility. Uh, and there's
I think Paul can say that because he was a wealthy man.
well, maybe, but
Like it's so easy when your life is well off to say
I,
these kind of things.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any idea what Paul's life was like, actually. um, except, I mean, all we know is what he wrote, and he didn't write of being a
Well, okay. When I say
a
wealthy, let me be
wealthy guy.
fair. He had influence. Obviously, he had influence,
Absolutely.
right? So when somebody has power, it is very easy to say how to like, oh, just deal with it. It's like a winner's bias. Have you ever heard of that?
Well, he didn't say deal with it. He said, "I'm thankful for the pain I feel trying to traverse this life. I'm thankful for the fact that there's a thorn in my side bugging me,
Well, do you see
making
my
it
point?
difficult for me to live my life."
Well, the reason I'm saying that is because obviously he's thankful for a thorn he can deal with. If he had other thorns that some people have that he didn't have, like the slave that he made go back to the master, like that's a different thorn. It's easy to say I have a thorn in my side when it's not the thorn that you can't handle.
I mean, right. And everybody has their own individual threshold. And I was even thinking about this. People have different tolerances for pain, have different tolerances
Yes,
for pleasure.
true.
I mean, and so I think that's quite involved in all of this. Um, as as to how people perceive this. And I do think that it's a very individual thing.
Uh,
And that's why I don't believe that I can tell anybody what to believe. I believe all I can do is tell you what I believe, and if it helps you, great. If it doesn't, that's great.
so then how does
We'll
God
find.
play into your thought process here? Because if we're just talking about us as human beings, what we're saying to me, okay, this makes sense. Like, because I can't really do anything for that person in a cage right now,
Right.
right? If I could, I would. Otherwise, I would be evil. And
Correct.
this to me is why the biblical God that allows that to happen is would be evil to me if that God is real, right? If it's all powerful, all loving, and it allows people to just be in cages right now, I don't see how that adds up, right? And I think that goes with the discussion
See,
here.
now that's where humanity gets involved in their interpretation of what we think, what we personally believe, and maybe even as a culture, we personally believe that torturing children is a terrible thing to do.
I would say
But it,
torturing anybody is terrible because
absolutely, but
I see what happens when they're tortured. They're not happy.
correct, and there's consequences for that too. They become rebellious, and they become spiteful, and they become resentful, and I mean, these are things that stem out from being treated badly, right?
Sure, but you were tying this to God. How does?
But well, so tying this to God is, not all slaves were beaten to the ends of their lives, and maybe some slaves were treated pretty okay for what a slave would be treated. Not to say that the idea of slavery is cool with me at all, but the fact that somebody can sit in their despair and find something to be grateful for, I think is an important thing to try and figure out, whether you believe in God or not. I mean, if you're having a difficult time with, say, your website or whatever, but you're having a wonderful life with your with your family and close people, I think you have a win. But
Yeah,
do
but
you
hold on.
see that?
I
But
feel
do you
like we went
see
to
that?
slavery and then we went to like a bougie life. like,
That's the contrast. That's the contrast. Some people have the bougie life. Some people don't.
right. So I would never. I don't think they
But
compare. Right. Like a slave
but
being.
the life
Go
I'm looking at. Okay, I guess I'm kind of looking at it uh without material. All right, so I'm not looking at the materialistic aspect of it. Although that's the see that's
Well, I mean, not being free is something that no one would like. So, like, the fact
uh,
that you're a slave is the problem. Nothing else matters after that point, right? Like, I don't
no,
compare.
that's
Like,
not true. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. You get up every morning. Are you able to get up and walk around without in relative um, comfort,
wait, you're a
that you can move
slave,
around, even though you're doing backbreaking work, whatever? I mean,
but
everybody's doing some sort of work,
you are a slave.
right?
That right there, your life
I I
sucks.
can identify as a slave to the extent that I'm told by my boss to do something I don't want to do.
Yes, but you don't. You can actually say no. There's consequences for what you say no. That's sure. If you say no, but
And there was for him, and there were probably more extreme.
no, it wasn't even extreme. It was the fact that you will be harmed. That's
Right, that's
different.
extreme.
Like
That's extreme, right?
physically harmed, right? Like that's different than
R-
getting fired.
Right, right, and it's an extremity. But I mean, at the end of it, if I get fired and I can't provide for my family, I mean,
That's not the same as getting beaten to death, having your wife raped, having
no.
your children sent off
All
to.
right, all right. First off, I'm not trying. I'm not trying to defend
No, I know you're not. I
any of
know you're
that.
not. I know you're
First
not.
of
But
all,
this is a part of slavery, though, right?
it is a part of it. It is a part of it. But I think in the most in the worst situation. How about this? You remember them Chileans who got trapped in the in the fucking hole in
Uh, I
a
don't know.
mine
I don't know
somewhere,
what year
the
this was.
mine caved
It
in.
happens a lot,
They were
but so go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, but they survived, and they were down there for a long ass time.
Yeah, okay.
Um, within the stories of the people there, now everybody kind of had their ins and outs, but there was moments where people were happy and thankful, not happy, joyful, which is different than happy. but
Yes, you can have some joy and
appreciating
horror
the
moments,
fact.
right? Is that your point?
Well, you can find joy within despair.
Cool. Now add on the fact that there is somebody there that can help you and they don't. Like I get your point,
Um,
right? Like I praise
okay,
people that
okay.
are able to find good in anything, right? That's awesome. But now add on the fact that we're talking about there is this person or being
Who fix it?
that
Who doesn't?
can help you and it doesn't.
Right.
That's the bad part to me. Like now, if you're
Um,
selling me, it's like if you told me right, like, hey, God doesn't actually exist, then what me and you are saying adds up more. But if you are
right.
saying that there is this being out there that can help
I guess
this person, that's my
so.
problem.
I guess my point, my thought is that we don't have as we don't have a say as to what God does.
So
If
might
you
is
drive,
right.
if you drive past a homeless guy on the street or on the corner there and who's got a sign and you have $20 in your pocket and you can hand it to him
Sure.
and you do, then
God can just make them not hungry.
right, but look, I don't know. I think there's the
Because
life experience.
God did it, right? Unless you don't believe in like Exodus or anything. Do you believe in Exodus?
I like I said, I don't believe that
That's
the
fair.
Bible's got it
Hey,
right
if
because
you don't believe it, that's cool. Ooh, that's cool.
I don't think the Bible's got it right, but let me say this too. I think art is very important within this because I think the artistic world shares a lot of this spiritual outreach, and part of it connects with other people. And I think community is very important to this whole thing as well.
I think community is
I,
the reason it spread.
I think community. No, I think the reason it's force spread is because of power
Oh, all right.
um
You're going
structuring.
to the next level I was going to go to. All right, I agree with you. Yes. Okay.
But I think people need community. I think that's why I'm talking to you. That's why you set this whole thing up in the first place.
Yes.
Is
Yes.
so you could create a community or reach out to a community that wants
Yes.
to try and sort things out.
Yes.
And I think there's going to be a lot of questions in the end. I don't think anybody has it all figured out. So to expect that we're going to get any answers is probably a bit pretentious. But at the same time, maybe you'll get an answer that will help you
Uh,
further your
from God,
quality of life and the quality of life of the people around you and the community you live in.
from God.
I think that's where
Sounds like you're cutting out a little bit, brother.
because it passes through us. I don't think it's so much God as a single individual type person. I think God as a flowing of
So is God like the
a
universe to you?
huh?
Is God like just the universe to you?
Um,
Like
I wouldn't
it
say
can't
just.
do
I,
anything. It's just what.
I would give it a little distinction from the universe itself and saying that maybe there's a cause if you want to go with the causal debate.
Okay, keep
That
going.
the cause of all of this may be of God, and because of that, that's kind of where I'm focusing it on. I think that people have an intuition to it, and I think the Bible writers had a connection, or at least the guys who wrote some of this stuff. Um, and
Well,
I think
I
that
thought you
many
didn't think
people
that
since
though.
then
That's a
did.
little confusing.
You're right. You're right. It is because I think a lot of people since then have, and nobody wants to put that in the canon.
Well,
But
wait.
I do think that
Why did these illiterate ancient men have some
no, no. The people who wrote the Bible were not illiterate.
Oh, well, the writers. Okay. Do you believe like the Gospels and stuff were actually written
I
by the
believe there's
people?
always been the human idea of structuring power, and I think it serves a community for the most part if we can kind of get people to buy into one thing, if that makes sense. The
What
problem
serves
with
it?
that, of course, is that the group next door is going to have a different idea of that, and that's where our conflict comes up.
I'm a little lost here on your like, I don't see where God is coming into play. It sounds like you don't really believe God is there in a way.
No, I think God is there, but I don't think God is. I don't believe that the Bible has it exactly right what God is. I think there's
What is
something
right? Let's
deeper.
go over that. Like, let's focus on what you think is
I
correct.
and I can't tell you what's right, and that's the thing that
At
the
least you're being honest. Okay.
yeah that I have to be honest about. I cannot tell you what's right. I can tell you what my belief is, and hopefully it helps you figure something out.
So
If it,
here would be my question then. If you were born somewhere else, it sounds like you would just believe that as well, right? Like if you were
I
born
would I would
in
I would
India, you would just believe whatever religious
I guess
things
it
that you were
depends on
taught.
the influence that I had over me. I'll say this. Okay, let me say this. My dad passed away when I was 13 years old. My opinion of my life would have been different as to what would have happened had my dad survived
Yep.
throughout my teenage years when I was being a pill, and he would have took me off to military school and all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, I
I don't
agree.
know if he would have done that, but I'm just saying that my life would have been different had my dad not died.
I would assume 100% your life would have had to be different. Now, how much? Who knows? Just like with my mother,
Exactly.
when my mother passed at a super early age, 100%. I know for sure my life was different because I almost destroyed my life. So, uh, like, yeah, I get it, but at the same time, I don't know how that ties into the God part.
Right. Well, now that's where I was kind of starting with this. All right. So somebody told me that the Lord's Prayer was not so much a formula that you needed to spit out, but a path of prayer, and it kind of gives you clarity, at least in your thinking, as to what's happening. So when I started praying with an open heart, as opposed to praying, "Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name," blah, 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 instead of doing that
Okay.
and praying with a "Hey,
Talking
I
like a
love
normal
you,
person.
thank you um, for this, and this. Uh, I have questions about this, and this." All right, now here's the miracle that happened to me. This is where the Red Sea opened for me.
Okay.
I made this prayer, and and later that day my mother had no real influence in my biblical upbringing. I'd say she kind of let me search, but she just said exactly what the question was. But I remember
You
the
cut off.
moment
Repeat
when I
that for me.
realized something supernatural had occurred. I made a prayer and God answered it. You can call it coincidence, but I had 5 questions that got answered in the same way within a week
Well, that's the thing that we were just
because of the
discussing, right?
way I
Like,
opened up my question. Now, whether that opened my mind to think
hold on. Let me ask you something real fast
about
because can you hear
the
me?
angles that it could have come from or whatever it was,
Buck,
or maybe,
Buck, Buck,
my mom didn't say anything about God. She just said
Buck.
blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
Hey, all
wow,
right, Buck, you can't hear
I
me,
was
can you?
wondering about that. Thank you. You
Oh
know,
gosh.
and it became a different
Hold on, Buck.
um, understanding of what or a meaning So what was going on in my head with religion, or
I
not
gotta,
religion, but with a
you literally can't
connection
hear
with
me.
God or the supernatural, whatever. And I call it God because it's an easy name for me. And like I said,
But
because I was
can
raised
you,
in
are you watching
a
the screen?
Christian understanding of religion. So I call it God, and
Did
that's
you, hit
where
mute,
that
Buck?
is.
Buck, brother,
I hope
you're,
I'm not just blabbering on.
yeah, you're muted, bro.
I do
Are you?
recognize that I have my own unique belief system, because I don't buy into what everybody says. You need to believe this or you're wrong. And I don't think that, and I do think that atheists have a similar doctrine.
Buck, bro.
And so I'm trying to be avoidant of doctrine in general,
All right, hold on. Let me do this.
not just religion. So
All right. Like hopefully Buck notices now because he's on the other stage. Uh, I don't think he notices. Like this is all recorded, by the way, so it's funny. Like I don't know if he accidentally hit mute, but I'm trying to make him realize that he was muted. Hey Buck, if you're in the stream, bro, I'm gonna bring you back up to talk, but you had me muted or something, bro. Hey Buck, you back?
okay.
Can you hear me?
Are you there now?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I got
I don't know what
I
happened,
dropped
bro.
myself somehow.
No, I dropped you because you had me muted or something. I was talking that whole time trying to get your attention.
Oh, I was just listening to the call, not to the feed.
Oh, okay, man. I was like, did Buck just mute me? What's going on, bro?
All right,
But no, I
all right.
definitely I heard what you said. Everybody heard what you said. Um,
Okay.
but my thing is here. I still would ask you, like, I know you said God answered your prayers, which is my first hint at why wouldn't God answer other people's prayers that are more important than yours?
Well, that's the thing is, you have to find you. I don't know. I don't know that. I guess one thing I did remember hearing in Catholic school was no is an answer.
Yes, but
And
if
I do
God's
think
giving you hold on, if God's giving you a job promotion or a new gig, and then it's God is not feeding starving people, you could. I think you would agree with me that if you had a choice, you would tell God to feed the people, right?
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I thought so.
And
So
I
it's
do
just
keep that in
like,
mind. I guess I keep that in mind even when I think about the fact that I didn't get what I wanted. Maybe he's doing something. And I wouldn't say I think that far ahead that he's doing something else, because I don't know that I think that there's a limit to it. I just think it's. I don't know.
well, there
I
wouldn't
think
be
we
a
need to
limit
learn.
because it's God, right?
I
Like
think we need to learn something. I do think that there's something we need to learn here.
yes, that's what I'm
Well,
saying, brother. Like,
I mean, in life in general. So
well, hold on.
so
Don't just focus on that part. I thought you are saying something very important there. There is something
okay,
we need to learn, and the learning is the God that we may have believed might not be the truth, man. This doesn't mean that there's no God, but it would not make sense for God to be able to answer your prayers and not answer prayers that you and me agree that would be more important. That should be the first truth that we look at. Now, does that mean we have an answer? No. But now me and you would be able to have a more honest conversation. And now you're on my team, right? Because we can just admit shit that doesn't make sense and it doesn't take away your God and it doesn't do
right,
anything, but it's like, oh, okay, God isn't doing this for sure. So let's stop
right,
pretending that God is doing this. And then now we can build a community, even with believers and non believers, that are like, hey, God obviously isn't helping people. We have to go help people. It does not mean God doesn't exist, but God does not come down here and help people. Like that
I
that
think I
that would
think
be my
God.
thing.
I think an important factor is that God helps people through people, and that's why I think it's kind of a through thing.
That is the
So
same
I
thing as
think
what I'm saying, but
exactly,
you don't, but you
exactly.
don't need God. You don't need God for that.
You
That
you you don't
you are
you don't
literally
have to.
saying that you're saying that people do it.
So
Why
my
use the
only,
word God?
I guess the reason to say why God.
Yes, why God?
Um, all right, I asked you a question on a post earlier, and you kind of started to answer on it, but
Oh, go ahead and ask me again.
uh,
I'll try to answer it now.
all right. The idea is, let's see. Um, I was talking to you about worship,
Okay.
and I do think that worship is something that people miss
Oh, gotcha. Yep.
as to what it actually is. Because I think if you go to a cemetery and put flowers on your mom's grave, it's an act of worship,
Is
and I
it?
don't think it's particularly wrong, but it is something that
Hold on. Let me look at
God throws
worship here.
God throws a fit about it. And I would even put sports teams
Okay,
and
I'll give you that for
product loyalty.
to be fair. Worship means showing deep reverence, devotion, honor, submission. I think my brain, when we're talking about God, automatically goes to submission, and yeah, I think that's probably it. Uh,
Well, if you go and take flowers to your mom's grave, do you submit? I
oh,
mean,
I actually was going to say reverence. I think that's reverence.
and as well, it's all of that. It's all of that. And if you go to the football stadium and watch the San Diego Chargers kick the shit out of everybody and root for them, that's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Is it?
And I think people don't recognize the fact that we worship outside of God, if you want to
Now, hold
call it
on.
that.
I think there are some fans that worship the team, and that fan would kill somebody else over the
And
team.
and I would say everybody's different. Some people will kill fans for their team, but some people will not kill fans for their team, but they will for their country. Or well, they won't
Oh,
kill fans for their
that.
country, but they'll kill fans for their religion. You know
Well,
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
yeah, I'll agree there, and that's why I was kind of worried. Not
That's why
worried, but that's why I was kind of like, it's a dangerous thing when you worship anything.
uh, I would concur. So I would be careful about what you worship. I mean, it can be the pursuit of sex or money or drugs or
Yeah,
whatever.
no, literally anything can be. It's if you're
It can
not
be.
careful. But why with God? It's like no, that's great to worship God fully. Why doesn't
I guess because I recognize the fact that within cognitive belief, I create God.
Okay, so you're
To
saying you made up God then, right? Are we just agreeing
well, I
here?
create my God. I don't know about the guy that Trump's trying to get
Yeah, but
everybody to follow, but
I think you agree with me here. Like we made up God, right?
yeah, we have to do that. We have to do that. There's just no other way in order
That's
to
good,
sort out
man.
what God is.
Hold on. Now you added that in there. We're on the same page. Like we made God, right? Like it doesn't mean God's not real. I just want to be clear here, guys.
You're right. You're right, and I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Whether you do or not, that's fine. But I totally agree. God exists, but our story of God is our story, not His.
Okay, here's a thing that I might make you think a little bit. Why do you say his?
I say that in general, and that's the what
When
proper
you
English
let's
way
see
you're
if you're
supposed to
let
say
me
it.
see how honest you are here. When you think of God, what does God look like? Is it a man?
Uh, I
Like
can't
the
conceive of.
first thing that pops in your head, is it a man?
Yeah, I guess I'd have
Right, it is, right?
imagery of an old man. Yeah,
Yeah,
of an old.
isn't that crazy how that works?
Yeah,
And it's
it is,
because
and I
you were
recognize
taught
it.
this, by the way. It's you were taught this, right? So
True, true,
it,
right. If I would have believed it was some seven-armed
yes, exactly.
serpent or something, I would think the same thing of that. You
So
know.
do you see why I'm saying like we just made up God? We just made it up.
Well, we didn't. We just made it up to make it cognitive to us. To you, you have a different idea of what you look at when you see God. Maybe you see the same thing, but maybe it's because of the
Well,
similar
I'm
influence.
since I'm from the United States, I have to stop myself from thinking of some old white man with a beard,
And
right?
that's unfortunate that culture was ripped away that much, from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
like I said,
myself,
it is what it is, and that's just what it is, and it makes
it is
sense.
what it is. So accept the new culture and be thankful for that. I mean, I mean, you're existing okay. I mean, you have an okay thing going.
I definitely do,
Maybe.
but that's what makes me uh critique all of these things even more because I know why I am where I am because I got lucky because somebody decided to help me and not just pray for me, right?
And
So
I do think there's a lot to be said about that. I mean, there's more that you can't just thoughts and prayers are not going to cut it. You're
right,
going to have
but
to
here's the
you're
thing
going to have
though,
to
the
cut it.
fact that you can't just pray proves that God isn't doing shit.
He motivates me to act. He
Okay,
motivates me
I,
by
I
doing that.
I'm okay with you saying that. I'm not okay. I don't like I'm your dad or something. I agree with you. Like I agree with you if you're saying that there are things that motivate us to do things, but I still want to be honest about the fact that it's just people helping people. God's not answering prayers from any proof that we have, right? It is people helping people. And if somebody had
Right.
just prayed for me and did nothing, I would not be here. It's the people that did something for me, which means it wasn't God. I give credit to the people that have helped me,
And I do too.
not God.
No, I do
Because
too.
if
And
God could have
but I
helped
do
me,
think
I would have known the difference
that
if God helped me. Because guess what? God's all powerful. Literally, it just would have happened. No, it was years because I needed
it,
different
see
people to
that
help me.
see that's kind of where I'm like, no, man. The thing is God's working through other people,
Why?
and
Why, bro? Why?
because we're all connected that way somehow, some way we're all connected in a way that we can share ideas and thoughts and experiences with each other.
Yes, but why doesn't God just do it? Why does God need people? Because here's what I'm hearing, and somebody said this earlier, which is great. It ties into this. I'm glad we transitioned into this. Excuse me. God needs people. Then,
He does.
oh, you agree with that? Okay,
I do agree with that.
okay.
I mean,
So then, what is God?
uh, the force, a collective experience of something beyond us. I mean, there's some connection that we have to have with each other.
No, you're going back to us. I know as human beings we need connection. What is God? Why does God need anything?
God is in the middle of all that. God is the reason that we do. I mean,
So does God exist because of us?
um, no, no, no. I know. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say God exists because of us.
It sounds like God's intention on us existing, right? Which is why
No, no.
God created us.
I think we tell God's story, and I think we tell it from a human perspective, and that's what we can do. I think I
Yeah, no, hold on.
personally
I
feel
think we're getting
that.
off track for a second because I liked where we were
Okay.
going. You
Okay.
said that God needed us,
I do think he needs us because
right?
I don't think he would have wasted his time making us if he
Cool.
didn't. I need my music.
Me and you
I
are on
make
like a really
music.
close page right here, and this is where I'm trying to help us keep going here because if the story is anywhere true, it means God needs people, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I totally agree that he needs people.
Cool. So if God needs people, I am like, hold on. The next part is God should just be doing everything God can do for people. So do you think God is doing everything God can do for us to help God? It's like a circle, right? I guess.
Mm. That's an interesting thing because yeah, that definitely would put limits on him by saying, well, he certainly isn't doing the things that we think he should be doing,
Not necessarily
right?
should, right? Like, I mean, it's a real question. Do you think the God that you think exists is doing everything it can?
Uh, um, yeah, I kind of think he is.
Okay,
I
so
kind of
then
think he is.
then I think me and you like would have to say that God is limited for sure. God's not all powerful.
And and that's, yeah, I would have to say a lot of things come from free will and predestiny and whatever that stuff
Yeah, okay. Before
means.
you make the other excuses on why God's not all powerful, I want to stick to the
I'm not
thing
trying
where
to make, I'm not
where
trying to make excuses. I'm just saying that the power that God holds is definitely the power that we give him.
okay, so then God 100% needs this.
Yeah, if he wants, I mean, if he destroys us, if he does another flood and kills everybody again, great. Uh, I mean, I guess he has the
Wait,
prerogative to
hold
do
on. I
that.
thought you didn't believe in that stuff.
I don't as such. I don't as such, but I believe that I'm just using it as a story example.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, great. Great sounded weird. Like the chat is like great. I don't know if you meant great, by the way. I don't know. I think you meant like, oh well.
well, I mean, yeah. Oh well, pretty much. Like, well, I guess that's what I guess that's Armageddon, right? I guess that's
Yeah.
what we were waiting for, right?
Okay. But back to what we were saying, like, because I
But
think we're making some like super progress here. Um, that you are saying that you agree that God is limited, correct?
I I would say he's limited. But my wife is standing here saying no.
Oh, hey, Mrs. Buck, Miss Buck, how you doing?
Mrs. Buck, what are you doing?
Okay, so your wife's
Um,
saying no. Did she want to get on here too? I'm welcome. I'll talk to everybody.
she said she's good, but maybe we'll get her on one day.
Okay, yeah, no pressure. That's fine. She's welcome
Yeah,
as well. That's my point. Um,
I know, and that's why I reached out to you.
yeah, cool. All right, so back
Yeah,
to that.
and to tell you, just so you know, my wife and I both believe, but we both have totally different ideas about what that means. And
So you guys would
and
be proof of what I am trying to build here, which is a community
exactly,
of people that believe different shit, but we can actually talk to each other and get along, right?
yep,
Okay.
amen.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to, but I'm trying to get us even closer to agreeing with each other. So don't get me wrong. It's just like because I love your honesty, by the way. It just makes me wonder why you hold on to the belief that of the biblical God at all, because I believe we're destroying the biblical God.
Um,
I don't think like from just me and you talking, we are literally saying that the God of the Bible doesn't exist. We are just saying that maybe a God does exist.
uh, all right, I would say a God does exist. I would say that there is, as I've said before, I would say there's truth in the Bible, but I would also say there's truth in other, especially artistic forms, be it architecture, be it music, be it form. I think art is important in this. Uh, and I think that our idea of art is not just painting, but also somebody who actually can make your car hum. You know what I mean? I think there's an artistic
Wait,
element
are you
in,
tying that to God somehow?
Yeah, because I'm talking about I'm talking about the things that separate humanity from other beings, which we can discuss what that means, but we can't really understand it except from our human perspective. But we can see that there ain't no other animals out there making houses to live in.
Yeah, hold on.
Um,
No, I mean, I
the
don't know how
way
we got
we
on this
do,
subject, but
anyway.
100% animals are making homes. They have
They're
families. They have
making homes.
communities.
They're making homes, and they definitely have communities. They definitely have communities, but they and they. But I also think they're part of the creation story as well. I don't think that they're not excluded. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know about life after death,
Do you
whatever
not?
happens after that.
I mean, I never asked you this one. Like, do you not think we're animals?
No, we are animals. I believe that we're part of that process, but I do think that something happened about 6,000 years ago when we started writing shit down.
6,000?
Because
They were right.
when we started
6,000.
writing shit
Wait,
down,
hold on.
that's when we started
Hold
writing it.
on. When was Mesopotamia? Not yeah. When was, I don't know if 6,000 is the first writing, because what about the wall paintings and stuff?
Um, we're on path, but I don't. And maybe
Like
there's definitely some more.
there were other human
there's-
types beings that were like
Yeah,
they
and so I'm not trying to say exactly what happened because I mean, for a language to work, we have to have other people to understand it, right?
well, you know, at one point, like there were different things that we would have called humans, right? Like we just
Yeah,
happened to be the one
yeah.
that survived, right? Like what were those people? They were people. Like what were those people?
Well, and that is fascinating to me to think that that is even part of the evolutionary process, I suppose. But I mean, evolution's kind of a weird thing to me, just because um,
Do you not believe in it, or
I don't disbelieve it. I think it makes sense from a practical sense, but
would you? Here's a question that may be easy for you to answer. Do you think
it's
all
still
of the evidence that we have points to evolution?
yes, I do. I like I said, I don't believe that it was an Adam and Eve story. We were made out of mud. Poof, there we were. I think it was definitely a process. I think that
Okay,
the Bible.
that would be evolution then. Okay,
Yeah, I definitely think that was an evolutionary process.
okay,
I,
cool.
I
We don't have to
definitely,
jump to that. That's fine. Like I was just making sure. Uh,
but
Go
yeah,
ahead.
no, the I think something happened, whether it was 6,000 or 10,000 years ago, when humanity and whatever won out in the survival of the fittest started writing stuff down, and that's where things started getting um, a little deeper because
Yeah,
it's.
my question was if you think cave paintings count as writing stuff down, because I do.
I do, and so I was qualifying my timeline by saying
Oh,
maybe not
okay.
exactly 6,000 years, by saying yeah, okay, maybe 10,000, maybe 12,000, whatever, somewhere in there we started writing things down. I don't know when the earliest cave
Yeah, I think it
paintings
could be
were.
like 50,000 years. Like
I think there was
it's pretty old.
okay.
Like
I know that
and how I look at it is this real quick. If we found
humanity's been
something
here
that,
200,000.
right, but if we found writings 50,000 years old, I will assume that we're actually missing more writings way before that. Because
Oh
like
yeah, there's a lot of.
what do we think? They just started actually drawing these awesome things at 50K? No, they were practicing way before then, which means animals were
building
writing
tools.
things way before the time we
Building
see.
tools is art. I mean, anyway, all of this is creative. That and I would even say what chimpanzees use. use tools in order to break things open.
Okay.
I mean, they have an understanding. So I do believe it's part of the evolutionary process.
All right. So you believe evolution. You
It's
believe
just kind of a
you believe we're making up God at the moment, right? Because there's no proof.
I believe we're making up God, but I think the proof is within a person's heart. I think that's where the authors of the Bible started writing from their heart certain things that made sense to their society, to make it better, to make it um,
Okay.
more cohesive, and
But
it definitely doesn't have the same ideals that we have today.
yeah,
Because
sure.
it was
Because time
because
changes, cultures change, circumstances change. So
right, and so because of
to
those
me, the
things,
biblical stories make sense for the biblical times. They don't make sense for a God that is transcendent of time, outside of time. Like it doesn't make sense. Like that's why
right, and
it's always been weird to me that the Bible doesn't say some shit that is like so amazing. The Bible just says normal stuff, very vague.
right, and it tells stories in the same literary ideas that we follow today. you know,
Yeah, well, we're not that far removed from people 4,000 years ago. We're the same people. We just have more technology.
right, and I agree with that too. Yeah,
So
I do think
it's
that
like that's
we
why the
have.
Bible actually resonates with us more because we're not 10,000 years from the Bible. I agree.
See, and that's
I think 10,000 years from now, they will laugh at the Bible. Like we're starting to laugh at it now because we're only 3,000 years away from it. But let it go
well.
on some more. Like we will find out so many things that the Bible will obviously be ridiculous.
So um um I don't know about looking that far ahead myself.
Well, I mean, a lot of
So
people
I,
say we're not going to make it, but Jesus said we weren't going to make it either. Remember the Gospels, please.
yeah, but I'm
Jesus
yeah,
said
but
this generation shall not pass, right? Like
we're
this,
certainly doing our number on
or
trying
some
to make
sorry,
sure we erase
yes,
this now, aren't we?
yeah, but I'm of the thing where unless there's an outside thing, we might be okay. Right? Like if a comet comes, okay, fuck it, we're just done like the dinosaurs.
yeah.
But if there's nothing like that, I think we'll be okay because the people that destroy everything don't usually destroy themselves. So it'll just start over again.
Um, I don't know. I think my mom always said that the Armageddon story struck her as obvious only because she knows humanity would just destroy himself if he given the opportunity.
That's funny. Yeah, I get it. And then there's the whole thing where this isn't really biblical at all, but I'm always interested in the why we don't see like the Fermi's paradox, why we don't see other civilizations, and it's possibly the answer to that is because once you reach a certain level, you destroy yourself, or you destroy yourself.
Right.
Because technically, if the universe has been around for 14.5 billion years, we should see alien civilizations everywhere. The fact that we don't is actually pretty scary, right?
Well,
So like I look into that as
in a
well.
lot of ways, that is kind of scary, and it could be that it's just so far flung, but at the same time, it's like, wow, that's man, we this is it, right?
Well, for as far as we know, like I'm probably
Right.
rare. Uh I am the type of person that, like I said, I try to just go off what proof is. Like I get statistics say that there should be other beings, but now I'm like, wait, statistics say there should be other ones, but we don't see shit. What if we're just the first ones?
So
And
that
that's scary to
that kind
people
of
as well.
gives credence to the whole God thing now. All of a sudden,
Nah, no, I'm not gonna go there. No, because it would make no sense for God to create this big ass universe with nothing.
well, if you had a deist point of view, where God just says, "Okay, I'm going to create humanity, and now I'm going off to do whatever else," because he doesn't
What?
have to waste
But
his
wait,
time with us.
hold
He's
on.
got all this space.
Go where?
To another billions of light years away and make another universe or
But
make another
can't God
civilization.
be anywhere?
Well, no, that's what we say. What did God actually tell you? Did
So
he tell you he's everywhere?
you're saying God's local?
No, I'm saying that's not even my idea. But the idea is a deist point of view, which is where you see that God doesn't care about humanity, but He made everything. There's a God who
Oh,
created
so
everything, and then
like a deist God. Okay, I got you.
right, a
I think that's what you
deist
said.
type of God.
That is what you said. Okay. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. All
I mean,
right, man. Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like we went through a lot here. That's pretty good. I enjoy these kind of conversations. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, me too. I was just gonna say, I'll let you have a chance to get some other folks on there and talk about some stuff and
Yeah.
see what they have to say to rebut me. But
If anybody's not scared, but I appreciate you coming up. Hey, let your wife know that she can come have her conversation too. I like how she came in. She's like, hell no, God is this. Then, hey, come
yeah,
talk to me, Mrs. Buck, and we'll have a cordial conversation as well. Obviously, it wouldn't be anything different. I love to hear everyone's opinions. I will critique them just like I want mine to be critiqued. So
that's cool.
let her know she's welcome, and you're
Uh,
welcome back as well, man.
all right, well,
I'll
cool.
let
And
you have
thank
the
you.
last word real fast. So go ahead.
Yeah, I hope you get a second to think about stuff I said, and if you think it's a chance later on in the future where you got something to say, reach out and ask again, and I'll certainly be happy to reach out and call you and talk to you about what you got going on.
All
Um,
right,
I do
sounds
like
good.
hearing. I do like this kind of stuff myself, probably as much as you do. So
Awesome. We'll have a good time then. I definitely will be hitting you up again. Thanks, Buck.
All right, man. You be safe, Jay.
All right, brother. Take care.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, man. So it's a good one. I always enjoy those conversations. I enjoy the honesty, by the way. There are not too many believers that you will get to honestly say these things. So I appreciate that for sure. What I'm going to do, hey guys, if anybody wants to step up and have a conversation, we've only been going for an hour and 40 minutes. So I would love to get another caller in. So if you're willing to call, hashtag, I always say hashtag like I'm on Twitter or some shit. Exclamation point, Discord, and hop on in. I'm going to run to the bathroom real fast and I will be back. So you guys enjoy having your conversations. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. I'll be back. All right, we're back. Don't forget to hit those buttons, click those buttons. Somebody said that nothing in the Bible is made up. I would love for that person to hop into the backstage. Let's have a conversation. I agree that, I think that we could come up with many things to where obviously the Bible made up some stuff. So feel free, hop on in. Exclamation point Discord. Get into the chat. We are all still waiting on Patal to join the live chat. That will be the day when Patal joins and we have a conversation. That's going to be the highlight. Let's get Patal in here. That'll be the highlight. Just saying. So it looks like we have some people that said they have experienced supernatural things. Is this true? Honestly, if you experience some supernatural thing, I would love you to join as well. I would like to talk to you. Come on, Patal. Why you being mean to me, bro? I've been so nice to you. Or bro or ma'am. I feel like I've been nice to you. Like, come on. I think we can have a decent conversation. Like, I feel like I've shown that I can just have a conversation with people, right? But I think that the poll we showed, there was some people that had some supernatural some supernatural experiences. I would love to hear those. That still goes on with the title. Like, because I think it doesn't add up because we don't see supernatural shit, right? So that would fall into our title here. So if you have some supernatural shit that you've seen, hop on in. Also, guys, come on. Like, we don't have a lot of people here, so I always expect the likes to match the people that are here. So hit the like button for me, man. This is a small channel right now. We're growing, but this is small. So, like, I expect to just have that many likes. Or thumbs down, by the way. Do the thumbs down if you don't like it, but just saying. I honestly don't think YouTube cares. As long as you click one of those buttons, YouTube doesn't give a shit, right? I've noticed as the channel grows, I'm getting a lot more haters, by the way. Like, I has a couple of racist people jump in. That means the channel's growing, right? So I was like excited to see the racist comments. I know that sounds weird, but a little excited to see the racist people coming out because they're like, oh shit, this so and so, they were calling me words, by the way. He's reaching some people. We don't like that. So thank you to my racist supporters as well. My whole thing is, if you're going to be racist, be 2026 racist. I feel like there's no new racist jokes. Like, they're all racist jokes from like the fucking 70s or 80s. Like, it's just like, golly, like, that's how bad racism is, by the way. Right? Like, you have to use racist jokes from like the 50s and shit. Like, that's how stupid racism is. Like, the jokes have not upgraded. Like, that's how dumb you are if you're racist, by the way. So I told the racist guy, I was like, bro, like, can you have a good comment? Like, I'll like make a racist joke that makes me laugh. Like, I've had that happen before, but it's like older jokes and when I was younger or something like that. Like, what are the new jokes? Right? Oh, they're probably not that good because everybody knows racism is just stupid as shit. You're just an idiot. Like, it's just like, no, racism is just that fucking dumb. You're an idiot. That's why you can't come up with a new joke. But it's funny. It's funny to me. It's just like stupid. Like, I mean, like, racism is dying whether people wanted to admit it or not. That's why racism is so loud right now because it's dying. Like, that shit's dying. It is dying. But anyways, back to the main subject, right? Like, I mean, I can blame God for allowing racism. Honestly, guess what? I can actually tie that in because God himself itself is racist. Let me know what you guys think about that one. Like, how many of you guys disagree with that? God is a racist. Come on in, call on in. Let me know what you think. I think that can get some people to call in. God's a fucking racist. Like, let's go on that one. God is a racist, so hop on in. Hop on in. Come on to the table. Prove me wrong. No. You gotta hop in here. I'm not answering it. Like, either you call in or not. Like, no. I made my statement. Somebody come in and say something against it. Call in. Other than that, we're gonna just talk about other shit. But I made my comment. If you think I'm wrong, call in. What would you consider super nats? I don't know what that means. If you hop into this chat, or sorry, if you hop into the voice, I'm going to say my opinion, right? I'm trying to get callers, man. I do mean what I just said, right? Let me be clear here. I'm not just saying that just to like incite people. I do think the Bible promotes racism. And if you're honest with yourself, you already know what I'm saying, by the way. This is one thing I do different than other people. I want you to steel man my argument because if you're an honest person, you already know the things that I would say, right? Like if you've studied your Bible, if you've been honest with your Bible, you will already know the things that I'm going to say. Right. And that's the thing that's different than me than other people is that I will ask you to tell me what you think I am saying and what scriptures you think I'm talking about. That is more of an honest conversation. But if you pretend that you don't know what I'm talking about, I trust you a little bit less because there's obvious racist things in the Bible. Like seriously, it's obvious. So if anybody's telling me there's no racist things in the Bible, I don't think you're being honest. And I'm all about honesty here. We're going to be honest. Or I'll call it out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I think you're being dishonest or you have not read the Bible. No, I'm not saying you agree with me, but you will know what I'm talking about. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you will know the scriptures I'm talking about if you are honest about what I'm saying, right? It doesn't mean you agree with me. Like, that's not what I'm about. Right? That's not what I'm saying. But you should know what I'm talking about. And also, if anybody has something to say about their supernatural experience, I would like to hear that. All right. Patal, just come in here in the chat. I shouldn't have to beg you, by the way. You making me beg you. How rude is that? You've said so much in chat, which I appreciate, but you need to come on in and have a conversation. I think there was somebody else, the Weeping Spirit, right? You said that you wanted to have a conversation. There's some scriptures that I think Jesus is kind of hinting at what I'm saying. Now, if you're thinking about racism like American racism, and maybe that's where you're not understanding. Like American racism is something new. Like there was a previous racism before American racism. Like that's a little bit different. So if that's what you're thinking, I get why you're thinking that way. Like race used to be a different thing other than color. Cause like, do you think Jewish, being a Jew is a color? You guys are cheating. Oh, by the way, you're making me say shit without anybody calling in. Like, do you think being Jewish is a color? Like, you guys are gonna cheat and get me to talk, and not nobody's gonna hop in there. But everybody's typing in chat instead of jumping in here. If I were you guys, I would call. I'm just saying. Bro, so crazy. Started bending spoons. But yeah. Like, what was I saying? Like, you guys know what I'm saying, by the way. Like, is being a Jew a color? What do you guys think about that? It's a privilege that God chose them. Yeah. God chose a certain group that all looked a certain way, and God said, fuck all the other groups. Yeah. Hint, hint. Sounds like some shit we heard over here in the USA. And everybody would disagree with that. Yeah, just like in the USA, by the way. Like you can get higher levels of equality, right? Depending on your status, right? Like there's a reason there were house slaves, right? They're still slaves, but they were house slaves. So they technically had a higher standard or a higher status than the other ones. Like, you guys cheated, by the way. You're just gonna make me talk about this shit. The fact that there's a chosen people, come on. Who can be honest with me here? Like, my last guy was honest. Who can be honest with me here? The fact that there is a chosen people, and this is before they believed, by the way. So don't tell me it's God's people. It's the fact that there was a chosen people and God said, screw the rest of the world. And unless you're telling me that there was no like Incas, Mayans, there was no Americas, like you literally think the only thing that existed was the Middle East. Like there was no Chinese, there was no Africans. Like if you're trying to tell me that none of those things existed, we have a whole different conversation. But the fact that God 6,000 years ago chose a group of people in this space that all would have looked the same isn't racist? Are we kidding? Like, are we not joking here? Or sorry, are we joking here? Like, if you don't think the people that God chose were of a specific color, I don't think you know history very well. Like, they were exactly a specific color. No, he doesn't have to start anywhere. It's God. God can start with the whole world. Why aren't there like 6 or 7 Jesuses? Sorry, I just put 5 up. Why aren't there like 6 or 7 Jesuses? Like, there should have been a Jesus over in the Americas. There could have been a Jesus over in China. There could have been a Jesus over in like what's to stop that? No, there wasn't. There was a Jesus in this one area. A Jesus that looked like another group. Jesus called out what? Buck. What did Jesus call out? Because Jesus, I remember Jesus telling the woman, he called her bitch, by the way, called her a female dog, and he said he didn't come for her. He helped her, but he was like, I didn't really come for you. I don't know why your message got erased. Oh, you retracted it. Okay. Like really, guys? Like, why didn't Jesus go everywhere on the earth? Jews are a certain color. Like, just to be real, and especially back in that time where they didn't mix at all. Like, Jews were definitely a certain color. Yeah, I get you're just saying God can do whatever God wants, then God's just an asshole again. It doesn't add up. God's not all loving. Yes, God, like, if you're right, like, I agree with you. If God exists for real, God could do whatever God wanted. That does not make God good. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Just because you're all powerful doesn't make you good. Trump, our president is all powerful. It doesn't mean he's good. Not all powerful, but he's the most powerful person on earth. It doesn't make him good. Like, the whole all powerful thing is irrelevant, man. Like, that doesn't give anybody the right because you can. That's your thing. Because I can do it. That's not a good person. And all of us would agree with that, by the way. But for some reason, God is different. Why am I fabricating? He didn't call her a female dog. He just called her a dog. All right, man. I'll give that to you. Is being called a dog any better? If I was just honest with you, can you be honest with me and say that being called a dog is also not good? Like I said, oh crap. My light went out. I'll grab it in a second. But like, if I'm saying that, okay, he didn't say female dog, can you say that being called a dog is bad? Like, let's see how honest you will be, because I'm being honest. God's time is short. Like, do you hear what you're saying? God, the Almighty God has short time. Like, you cannot believe that, man. Like, there's no way you believe that. God, man, you're saying God didn't have enough time. That hurts my heart to hear. Like, that really hurts me, like, to hear that you say that God didn't have time. Holy shit, man. I wish you would just call in. I believe I could help you, because the fact that you're saying God didn't have time should make you question everything, brother. God didn't have time. That's God. I'm going to keep repeating that, by the way. You said God didn't have time, man. God. Holy crap. Dude, that should that should make you think. You said God doesn't have time. Oh my God. Like that literally like makes me question if you're being honest. God didn't have time. Oh my God. So scary, man. Like the shit we've been indoctrinated into. Shit worries the shit out of me, man. Like as a normal person, if I met you in the streets, like I don't think you live your life the way you just said. You said God didn't have time, man. Like I want you to think about that, and I'm going to keep saying that. You said God didn't have time, brother. You said God didn't have time, man. Golly, bro. Nah, man. Like, no, I want you to sit with that. You said God didn't have time. Like, how can you say that and be okay with that? Like, real talk, weeper spirit. Like, how can you say that? God didn't have time? What else is God doing? What are you talking about? Who cares? Jesus' time on short. Why? Why was Jesus' time on earth short? He's God. Like, do you not understand how ridiculous that sounds? Like, work with me here, man. You made me be honest, and I was honest with you. You be honest with me now and say how ridiculous that sounds. Because I was honest with you about God calling the girl a bitch. Fine. He didn't say that. Like, but realize what you're saying. You're literally saying that Jesus had a short period of time and Jesus is God. You have to understand how ridiculous that is. Like, if you can't be honest with me there, you're not being honest and I'm being honest. No, my heart hurts for you, bro. Because the fact that you are able to just like say that and not have no feeling towards it, I feel for you. Like, how can you say that? Like, I don't know, man. Like I said, I was honest and now you're not being honest for some reason, which it's unfortunate because I'm okay with being honest. Like, it's super unfortunate, but it is what it is. I need my light back. Actually, I don't even know how much the light was doing. Maybe the light was too much, by the way. Like this kind of like I'm looking at the screen and I think it looks okay. But yeah, like I'm sorry, bro. Like the fact that you called me out and I was honest, and then now you're not being honest, I don't know what to say. That's unfortunate for me. Um, if you hit this, you should be able to join in. If you got Discord, you gotta have Discord, obviously, but that should allow you to join, man. And when you call in, I want to focus in on this statement, right? Oh, you don't have Discord. I mean, anybody can get Discord. It's pretty straightforward. But I don't know, man. I know I was honest with you, and then you just kind of weren't being honest with me. Let me reread your comment. Like to make sure I ain't tripping. And I'll be honest again. If I'm tripping, I'll be honest again. But like I feel like All right. Scrolling. You said don't add words. So let's see. What words did I ask? Oh, yeah, but because his time was short. Yeah, that was my thing. Like, yeah, but you're not being honest, man. Like, if you're telling me that God had a limited time, you are literally just saying that God isn't God. I feel like that's all you're saying. And then go ahead and admit that. All right. Like, if you're saying God isn't God, okay, cool, bro. Like, okay. Or God isn't that kind of God. I don't know how to word it. But to say that God didn't have time, like, what is God doing right now? Like, why is God waiting? Like, what does it mean to wait as God? And this ties into the title here, where it's just like it doesn't add up, man. All right, we got somebody. Jacob Packer. All right. Let's like I said, I don't have my lights, so it didn't look like it fixed anything. 1 second. Oh, Jacob left. My bad. Jacob left. Did have somebody that was here. Think about what you're saying, right? The Almighty God had a mission, and its mission was somehow limited to time. Yet, God is all powerful and outside of space and time. Please work with me on what you're saying. You believe all of these other things, but all of a sudden, for the most important thing that we are told is in existence, God all of a sudden has limits. Like, please be honest, man. Like, I get that you're going to believe, right? Like, I'm not trying to convert anybody, but please, like, admit how ridiculous that sounds. All right, we got Jacob in. There we go. Jacob's back.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes, welcome, Jacob. Call you Jacob. That's what your name is. I'm Jay, man.
Hey, Jay, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. It's been a good day. It's a Monday. Had to start work, and after I get through Monday, I'm usually good because I only
Awesome.
I have 4 days a week. So if I can get through Monday, I'm done almost. So
That's quite cool. This is like my first time joining one of these live chat calls. But I was just swiping through
yeah, all good, man.
YouTube and I saw your channel. I was just kind of sifting through your videos and
Were
was just
you one of the chatters, or are you just
I just popped in. Yeah, I haven't put a comment in the chat yet or at all, but
okay?
I was
Cool. I'm just making sure you're not the other person I told to come up. That's all.
Oh, no worries. I did try and call in a second ago, and then I got confused with the app, and then I heard your video. I was like, oh, Jacob tried to call, but he's gone. I was like, oh, okay, I'll try again.
Cool.
Anyway.
So, hey, let me know what you got, man. The floor is yours.
Oh, yeah, cool. So I was just kind of looking at your videos. It seemed like there was like, you know, questions about, God and reality, and I think big ones that are like important, like why is there evil in the world, and why does God, if he's all powerful and can do anything, why does he make a world where there's, child rapists and like why couldn't he just make a world where everyone's already saved and in heaven?
Okay.
Is that
Oh, you keep
Would you say
going
that?
because
Oh yeah, cool.
this topic is like God doesn't add up. So all of those things
Mhm.
would equate to why I say God doesn't seem to the Bible
Yeah.
God doesn't add up. Bible God specifically.
Yeah. Well, and I think too with the Bible and I guess mainstream Christianity or creedal Christians, that with their theology, it makes God out to be this evil being, right? Because if God knows everything and knows every choice you're going to make before you even make it, that means before he makes you into a person, he already knows if you're going to do all these evil things and burn in hell for eternity
Yep.
or choose to follow him and go to heaven. So why even push that button to create that person in the first place?
Yep.
Um, and so the thing that I like about um, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is it kind of answers all those questions. And it actually has a theology that requires there to be evil. And the way that it answers those questions is the main thing is like, for one, every single person that's here on earth is a child of God in kind of the literal sense, in that you're all, every one of us are, we're of the same species as God, which sounds crazy, I know, but in another sense, not that it makes God less, but it makes you, the individual, worth so much more than we can comprehend.
Can
And it's, yeah, go ahead.
can I ask something? I had a buddy of mine when I played basketball. He was a Mormon, and
Mm-hmm.
very interesting thing. Like we used to speak. We were like the good group. Like they used to separate the good guys from the bad group. So
Yeah.
I would always get in a hotel room with him because we were the good guys. We didn't have girls in our room and shit like that. So
Yeah.
here's an interesting question because he said this to me that he was brought up as like Mormon church was like racist at a point, right?
Mm.
And then he
Yeah.
told me, he was like, hey bro, you don't have to worry about it anymore though because they let black people in now.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
like what is
Awesome.
your since you brought up the Latter-day Saints,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
totally.
ask you like what is your take on how was that God all of a sudden changing God's views, or was that once
Sure.
again people speaking for God and being wrong?
Right. Yeah. Well, so that's the thing too with Latter-day Saints is we don't hold the only thing that's not fallible, meaning that's completely perfect, is God. So we don't believe that scripture is unfallible. Like it, because a human being is involved in writing it down, there can be mistakes in there. And same thing with prophets. They're fallible men. Yes, for some reason, that's the pattern that God chose, is to call a prophet and you know, work through him to spread his gospel, right? And so they can make mistakes, and I think, um, you know, obviously, I don't agree with that policy. It wasn't necessarily a doctrine, but it was a policy that,
Right, wasn't
well,
it something like black people were like evil, that's why they were black?
no, so Brigham Young, if you kind of look at the actual founders of the LDS Church and where they're coming from, there was a very much a creedal belief back then that um, that the curse of Cain was part, that curse of Cain is what created
Yeah,
black
curse. It
skin,
was a
which is
curse. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah.
completely false, right? But Brigham Young kind of came from that upbringing, right? Before the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was even around, and so I think some of that corruption was in his mind, and I
I
think
mean,
that
obviously it was,
partly
right?
influenced him. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Because if you read like all of our scriptures and even like the Book of Mormon explicitly state that God is not a specter of persons, like he loves all. And even when Brigham Young had that policy and it wasn't that they couldn't be members or participate in all these saving ordinances of the church. It was just they couldn't hold the priesthood, which allowed you to baptize other people.
Yeah, but I would
And
still take that as like, I know you're saying it
I
like
agree.
at least,
Yeah.
but when we use the words at least, it's kind of saying what the other person's saying is oppression is true. Right, like otherwise you wouldn't say
Yeah.
at least, right? Like at least, right? Like
Oh,
we don't
yeah.
we don't use that unless we know something's wrong. Like that's kind
Sorry,
of what I think of.
you're saying at least. What do you mean by
So like you said, or maybe I missed. If you didn't say this, you correct me. But I thought you said you were kind of saying like, well, at least they were able to do all of these other things. They just couldn't baptize.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree with you. Like I hate that, and I think it was something that was a mistake that Brigham Young did. And I'm glad they got rid of it. But to go back, because and we could go back to this topic if you want to. I'm happy to talk more about it. But to kind of jump back to what we were talking about with, God being, or how our theology makes God to be an actual loving being, and actually makes it to where everyone has agency.
Okay.
Or freedom to choose, because if you believe in what mainstream Christianity believes in, which is, before God even creates you, he knows you're going to heaven or hell, then you don't really have a choice because he already knows before he even makes you. So in our theology, you've always existed, and you've always existed, and as a
Oh, you sound way better now. I don't know what you just did.
okay, I just stepped outside.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
if that helps at all. But so you've always existed as an eternal being, whatever that looked like, but you are a spiritual being that's always existed, and God invited you to be part of his family, and he presented a plan that would allow you to become and achieve and become like God. Now, not replace God. You'll still always worship God for eternity, but God, who's all loving, wanted to provide a way for you to become like him. And so he presented a plan. And you, as a spiritual, eternal being, weighed the options, because it was like, hey, you're going to be born in this world that's going to have a lot of evil in it. But because of the whole mortality, you're going to gain a body, you're going to experience sorrow and pain, but now you'll know what happiness and joy are because you'll have experienced.
Can I
both.
ask you, does God know what happiness and joy is?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So how, if God never
Genesis.
experienced any of this?
So, like, you know how it says in Genesis where they're like, they command Adam and Eve to not partake of the forbidden fruit, otherwise they'll know good from evil and become like gods.
Sure.
So,
yep.
Now, how does God know joy and happiness?
Right.
I don't know fully, right? Those are kind of some of those mysteries of God, as far as, because I can't even comprehend how eternity looks like or how that even works. But what we do know is just that God has always existed eternally.
Well, that's why I ask, right? Like, so
mm-hmm.
do you believe God's like perfect and all of that?
Yes.
There's a but coming.
And it's the same with Jesus Christ, right? But we do believe that God the Father has. So, what, if you were to ask a Mormon, like, what's the difference between our Trinity versus, mainstream Christianity's Trinity? And the main difference is that God the Father has a body of flesh and bone, just as Jesus Christ has a body of flesh and bone. So,
wait, hold
I
on.
guess,
You believe that, like, God has flesh?
yes, yeah. Now it's a resurrected body, like Jesus Christ.
Is there like a supreme being?
Yeah, so God the Father would be the Most High God.
Right, and it has flesh.
It has flesh. Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and it when you think about it, though, it's like the Old Testament when God's creating Adam and Eve, and He's like, "Let us create man in our image." That means we are the same type of image as God. Right? So if you looked at God, He would look like a person. So
okay, so how would we know that is true? Like, what makes you think that is true? Like, how could you prove it?
Yeah, that's a great question.
And the only reason I ask that is because I have another story over here, right? That's telling me totally opposite of what you're saying. How can I decide who is more likely to be true or telling the truth?
So, before I answer that question, let me just finish my thought on this. So, basically, the purpose of this life is to be born here, get a body, learn the whole mortal experience, go through the trials of life, learn of Jesus Christ, worship Him, follow Him. When you die, you'll go to what's called the spirit world, and that's where we'll all go when we die. And in the spirit realm, there's missionary work going on, meaning that because there's
missionary.
Yeah, so like people that have been born that never knew about Jesus Christ or the gospel, that never were baptized, never had the opportunity to even believe in Him. They will be taught the gospel and have an opportunity to accept that.
Is this in is this in the Book of Mormon?
Yeah. Book of Mormon and Doctrine and Covenants. And the other thing too, what's cool is, so like we have temples, right? And the purpose of the temple is to do those saving ordinances for our dead ancestors. So if you weren't baptized in this life, someone will be baptized for you in the temple, and then you in the spirit world, or anyone who hasn't been baptized, when Jesus is before you and pleading with you and saying,
okay, so
you said your name's Jay, right?
Jesus is still, I'm Jay. Jesus is still Jesus.
Yeah. So Jesus will be like, Jay.
What's Holy Spirit to you guys?
Holy Spirit would be the Holy Ghost, which is the third member of the Godhead. So, but before I jump back, let me finish my thought with the, Jesus Christ on the final judgment, it's not going to be Jesus with the clipboard and saying, "Oh, Jay, man, you were so close, but you missed it by 2 points. You're going to have to burn in hell for eternity. Sorry, man." No, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be Jesus standing in front of Jay saying, "Jay, you were such a great, valiant person in life, and we want you to come home. Please accept my sacrifice that I paid for your sins so that you don't have to. All you need to do is accept me and the work that's been done for you, baptism for the dead.
When you say accept, right?
Yeah.
Because this is a key moment to me here. I cannot, and this is why I do what I do. I cannot lie. If God existed, I couldn't lie to God, right? So I am just like, you know what? I'm questioning the shit out of all of this. I'm not even going to pretend anymore. I never was really pretending. Let me not say that. Like when I fully believed, I was just like this, except as a believer.
Yeah.
So I like once I stopped like believing everything, I was like, oh well, you can't just believe some of it. Like that doesn't make any sense. So it's like I'm going to do exactly the same thing as I would do, is just question the shit out of everything, right?
Amen. Yeah.
So
You should.
how like let's say I die right now, I go to Jesus, like am I just gonna all of a sudden like believe? Like is that like so like you're saying there's preaching, it's like I would assume like it would be very strange to me that anyone that died right now went to the afterlife and Jesus came to them and it's like, hey bro, you were wrong, would not accept it. So do you think everybody's going to heaven?
Essentially, yes. Yeah. So we don't really believe in a hell in the way that mainstream Christianity believes in. So, in other words, let me put it this way. And the thing too is, if it isn't this way, then then I can love more than God, right? Because if you have a child, I don't know if you have kids, but I have kids.
Yep.
And I don't care what my kid does, man. I'm going to want them to come home. I'm not going to be like, oh, sorry, you didn't do your chores, so you have to burn in hell forever in eternal fire torment.
I don't think
like,
anyone deserves a eternal
no,
punishment.
Yeah, right? It doesn't make any sense. So
punishment, yes, but I can't think of anything that's eternal punishment.
Amen. Yeah. Well, and the thing too, though, so to answer your question, Jesus Christ, as much light and happiness and joy as you want to have, he will give you. But there will come a point.
But after I die, though, not right now, though, right?
Yes, after you die, yep.
Why is that?
Because in the pre-earth life, you chose to accept his plan. So you kind of did the first step, whereas Satan and his followers, they rejected God's plan and they were cast out of heaven.
Why did they reject it?
So in the modern revelation and in Revelation in the Bible, it talks about the third of the hosts of heaven getting cast out. When Heavenly Father presented the plan, but he was like, in order to satisfy the demands of justice, because in order to become like God, to make that huge leap between us sinful, broken people to become perfected or whole like God, there's a big gap there, right? And it requires
doesn't God just make people that way?
Yeah, so we believe that God is bound by reality. So because God's existed for all eternity, he existed in a reality where...
Oh, that's interesting, because to me, well, hold on, because to me, you are saying there is something that controls God. Yeah,
he's bound. Otherwise, it would make no sense.
Wouldn't that be the foundation? Wouldn't that thing be God? The thing that makes God be God would be God, right?
Yes. So reality, we would say, has always existed.
So God is like a creation.
No, because he's always existed eternally, and he's the one who.
But God is bound by something. Hold on, man. We're so close to something here. God is bound by something, which means God is controlled by something.
Yes, absolutely.
So that is God, not God.
No. So, and the thing too is, like, we also don't believe in creation out of nothing. So
yeah, I don't think that makes sense.
right? You just can't just poof something into reality. God created everything out of existing material.
Right. So the existing material is above God.
I would say that the existing material is submissive to God because God operates within the laws of reality.
Ah, man, I think we were so close, man. I think we were so close.
Yeah, because God exists in reality and obeys those laws, the actual
Wait, you just said obeyed, bro. You just said obey.
Yeah, because if he were to break those laws, he would cease to be God.
So then those laws are God.
No, because we don't worship those laws, but we do obey them, just as God does.
God bends to those laws.
Yes, which makes sense why he would have to sacrifice his son. Because why, if not, why would God make a reality where he has to kill his only begotten son? Makes no sense.
Yeah,
But
I'm with you here, but that means we're not talking about an all-powerful being. We're talking about most powerful being according to us that is bending to the will of the universe. So
yeah, I mean, I guess
the universe is now God.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like gravity. Like I don't worship gravity. I don't like praise to it, but I know it's there. It's something that's just kind of a eternal thing.
This is interesting, man.
Yeah, but because God obeys these laws,
I've never heard somebody admit that God obeys stuff.
Every molecule in atom will submit to his will because he obeys all of the laws of reality. And the only way to bridge that gap to make us who have sinned not have to pay that price of suffering, he sent his son to die, who was perfect. And because he was perfect and did no wrong and touched no evil thing and died for our sins.
I mean, I got some rebuttals on Jesus being perfect, but I mean,
sure.
Like, how do we know what Jesus was doing from age 12 to 30?
Yeah, I guess we don't really know, right?
Right.
I mean,
and you're being pretty honest with me. So let's be honest here. Jesus was probably doing bad things. Like, because that's what growing up is.
Oh, for sure.
Right. But so like why would, if Jesus was a human, which I think you say he was human, right?
He is same as us, except for the fact that, like you and I, we have a human dad and a human mom. Jesus Christ literally had a God as his father and then a human mother, right? So
yeah, do you believe in like Greek gods too?
Because
that's the same story, right? Like Zeus had like half god, half man babies.
I'm not too familiar with the as much Greek gods as I know is from watching the Disney Hercules.
Well, I mean, that's still a perfect example. A god came down, impregnated, and you have Hercules. So Jesus is technically the same thing.
Yeah. So, but because he has that that godship, as far as God being his literal father, it gives him power that we
don't have.
Regular normals don't have.
Sure. Right? So that's the same thing as Hercules, though, is my point. Hercules would be the same.
So then I guess what we would have to ask ourselves is what's classified as sin, right? What would make Jesus not perfect or perfect? Because if just learning and growing like a like a normal child, but he's not a normal child, he's the Son of God, right? So there's a perfect aspect to him that he can sin if he wanted to, but he chooses not to.
What do you
And that's
think
the same
about Jesus flipping over the tables in the
yeah.
the market? Is that
Yeah.
not
So,
anger? Is anger not sin?
yeah, I guess it depends, right? Because the um, God throughout the Old Testament and New Testament, there is justice, right? So you could, I guess the way I would answer that is I think he was executing justice,
But he was mad.
but also God, right? So it kind of gives him that power to
I don't know. That's kind of
make
like
that judgment.
I don't know. Like, so you're
Yeah,
saying
good question.
God can do things God told us not to do? Is that what you're
Mm,
saying? And
you know,
I would say that it would be true, by the way, but I think it's unfair. Like,
yeah,
I do not think the most powerful person, I think the most powerful person should actually be held to a higher standard than me. That's how I treat our government, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I
obviously
think our government should be held to a higher standard. If you're president,
Mhm,
you should be better than me,
mhm.
right? So,
Yeah,
like, I know a lot of people say that God can do whatever. I'm like, no, I can do whatever. God can't. That's why it's God.
mhm.
So I
Yeah.
don't
I
know
mean,
how you feel
as
about that.
as far as like doctrine goes, and as what we do have is that God, Jesus Christ, committed no sin,
How do we know
right?
that
So
though?
we just have to have faith in it, right? We're not going to be able to have
All right. Well,
absolute evidence of
do you
that
see where
until
my
next.
problem is with that though, right?
Yeah, but also too, going with the laws of reality, right? And this would explain why there needs to be faith and why God doesn't show himself as clearly as maybe we would like
Well,
it to
then
be.
why did God show up
Because,
in the Old Testament?
yeah, that's a good question. So when he appears to, let's say, a prophet, right? And that prophet sees God's face and witnesses him, right? And is like, whoa, this is actually real. This is not pretend anymore. That person is going to be held at a higher accountability
Mm-hmm.
because of the laws of justice. Because
Because
now
they saw the truth.
they saw the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you and I operating on faith, God is allowed to give us more mercy and grace because we didn't actually know the truth. It's like,
So
the New
I wanna
Testament talks
stick to
about
that
there's
for a
tons of
second.
traditions. Yeah.
So knowing the truth, right? So this
Hmm.
ties back into why I hold God responsible for everything. Because
Hmm.
God knows everything, which means God is responsible for everything. Because what you just said, knowing the truth, now you have a very high standard, right? Why do you not hold God to that same thing that you just said for a prophet? God knows everything, which means God is now at the responsibility level of the Most High.
Yeah. So I guess my answer to that would be is to protect agency, right? I think God interferes as much as he's allowed to,
Oh, what?
and
That's
still have
allowed? Doesn't that make you question everything? Allowed. God's
no,
allowed?
it answers all the questions. It
Why?
answers because it's like otherwise like you said, you
You know
have
what
an
word I'm
evil
saying,
God.
right? Like allowed. Like allowed is
So
the key word.
yeah,
What's allowing God?
so you have this plan, right? That's bringing his, like in our scriptures it says the God's glory is to bring to pass the immortality and the eternal life of man.
Okay.
That's where his joy comes from, is seeing his children grow and become like him. Just as
Okay.
we with our children, we get joy and happiness seeing our children grow
That's
and
true.
experience everything we have, right? So it makes sense in that sense. But so in this plan, this reality you and I are in, there's a there's a balance where God has to, in my mind, like God has to maintain this realm of faith and not show himself too much where he can't give us as much grace because we're held at a higher accountability. Did that answer your question, or did I veer from it?
I think my main point was, and you are saying it to me. I'm just curious if you mean what it sounds like, because once I hear God limited, I'm saying we don't know what the actual God is, because there's something that is like God, like from what I'm hearing, I guess let me lay it out this way. The God that we're talking about is just the most powerful being that we know of. There is something else outside of God that makes God restricted. That is God to me.
I mean, I guess. I mean, that's not how we would look at it. Like we just look at that as reality.
Yes, so reality is God.
Yeah. I mean,
but God is controlled by the reality, right? So then now it makes sense that God's just some asshole dictator that can't do everything. So it forces it on us because it can't do everything, because there's this other God that God doesn't know. It's kind of like how we can't talk to God. God can't talk to whatever made God either. That's what it sounds like to me when you tell me this story. It's like, oh, there's these layers, and hey, human beings, you happen to be on this layer, so guess what? It sucks. Listen to this other being that is on this layer. While this being also can't even get to the top layer either.
So let me just read this scripture to you in the Book of Mormon. I feel like it kind of.
I mean, do you get what I'm saying though?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. However, so like in our mind, it's like reality obeys God because he's in perfect harmony with it. So like because he doesn't break the laws of reality, reality obeys him. In that, like when he's like, hey, I want this arm healed, the molecules assemble and organize the way they are because he obeys.
Could he break the laws of reality?
He could, but he chooses not to. Because if he did,
so then reality wouldn't. Reality. Wait, hold on. Say that again. I'm sorry. Let me let you finish.
If he were, so for example, he can sin, but he chooses not to. If he were to sin,
breaking reality would be sin.
So if he were to sin, he would cease to be God.
No. I'm sorry. Like, could God? What do you mean by reality? I guess.
Yeah. Here, let me just read this.
Yeah. Go ahead. Do your thing. Yeah.
Hold up here real quick.
What are you reading from?
So it's the Book of Mormon.
Okay.
And it's in, I think it's Alma 42.
Okay. Book of Mormon.
So
42. I've never read the Book of Mormon.
You should check it out. Like, it's coming forth it's so crazy.
I see justice requires punishment for sin. Mercy is possible through. Okay.
Yeah, so let's go. Alma 42. Come on here.
This is interesting for me.
Yeah. So yeah, let's just read it real quick. So, and now my son, I perceive there is somewhat more which doth worry your mind, which ye cannot understand, which is concerning the justice of God in the punishment of the sinner. For ye do try to suppose that it is injustice that a sinner should be consigned to a state of misery. Now behold, my son, I will explain this thing unto thee. For behold, after the Lord God sent our first parents forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence they were taken, yea, he drew out the man, and he placed at the east end of the Garden of Eden a cherubim and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the tree of life. Because it, anyway, well,
So I'm
God,
reading here, I have it on the screen.
yes,
Like it says, God cannot destroy justice just to be merciful.
yeah. So,
Does that kind of sum up what you're saying or no?
Cold. Yeah, let me just find the actual verse here. Well, let's just read this real quick. So, let's see.
Is it still, it's still Alma 42?
Yeah, verse 4. So,
Okay.
Adam and Eve partook of the fruit, right? So, and thus we see that there was a time granted unto men to repent, yea, a probationary time, a time to repent and serve God. For behold, if Adam had put forth his hand immediately and partaken of the tree of life, he would have lived forever according to the word of God, having no space for repentance. So to summarize, what he's saying is, since Adam and Eve partook of the fruit of knowledge of good and evil, he made it so where they couldn't partake of the fruit of life anymore. Otherwise, they would remain in their sins forever. Right?
I've heard that one.
Okay, so but behold, it was appointed unto man to die. Therefore, as they were cut off from the tree of life, they should be cut off from the face of the earth. And man became lost forever. Yea, they became fallen man. And now ye see by this that our first parents were cut off both temporally and spiritually from the presence of the Lord. And thus we see they became subject to follow after their own will. Now behold, it was not expedient that man should be reclaimed from this temporal death, for that would destroy the great plan of happiness. Therefore, as the soul could never die, and the fall had brought upon all mankind a spiritual death, as well as a temporal death, that is, they were cut off from the presence of the Lord. So spiritual death is when you're no longer in God's presence.
Right.
And physical death is, your body dying. It was expedient that mankind should be reclaimed from this spiritual death. Therefore, as they had become carnal, sensual, and devilish by nature, this probationary state became a state for them to prepare. It became a probationary state. And now, remember, my son, if it were not for the plan of redemption, laying it aside, as soon as they were dead, their souls were miserable, being cut off from the presence of the Lord. And now there was no means to reclaim men from this fallen state, which man had brought upon himself because of his own disobedience. Therefore, according to the justice, the plan of redemption could not be brought about only on conditions of repentance of men in this probationary state. Yea, this probationary state, for except it were for these conditions, mercy could not take effect, except it should destroy the work of justice. Now, the work of justice could not be destroyed. If so, God would cease to be God.
All right,
so
that's kind of what it says in my little synopsis here. So, I mean, I think you already agreed. I think there is something that controls God, but we just don't call it God, which is weird to me.
Sure. I mean, I think that God that you're talking about, or reality, the laws of God, it views God as God because it doesn't rob justice.
I would say that the things that control God don't even know God. And it's like the same thing as if God exists, it makes more sense that God doesn't even know we're here. Like that's to me, those are the things that add up to reality. Like if God is real, God does have no clue that we're sitting here on this rock in this small spot. And God's just being God. Whatever that means, by the way.
Yeah, I think that requires a lot more faith then
I'm pretending here.
I got you. I got you.
I'm pretending to. I'm saying that's the only thing to me that makes sense with our reality. Now, the truth is, more likely, there is just not a God. There is the reality that you are saying that controls God, like the speed of light, all those kind of things that just are. They don't have. They don't think. They're not a thinking thing. It's just is what it is. To me, that is what we assume is God. Like, we just come up with other things to make it make more sense, and we make it human. But in reality, the only thing that we're talking about is this universe that we can't fucking understand. Excuse my language.
No, you're good.
Like the fact that we can't understand this universe is why we come up with a personable God. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's scary for most people.
Yeah.
Like I talk to my wife sometimes. Yeah. Like, I love to look out into the space and stars, and I love how if you can go in some like area with no light pollution, how it just looks like the stars are like coming down on you. Mm-hmm. That is scary to some people. And it's because you realize how small we are.
Yeah, isn't it wild?
Right, but I'm saying that's the same logic to where it's like, it is scary that there's this dark universe and we're just floating around. So we have to come up with this being that's protecting us. Mm-hmm. Like, does that make sense or no?
Yeah, I follow you. I get what you're saying.
Okay.
And like our theology and belief system, you're still going to heaven with the beliefs that you have right now. Like, God's plan is that merciful and perfect.
Why aren't we just at the end? What about that? Like, let's just say I agree with you. Like, why aren't we already just in heaven?
So it's to live this mortal state. Like, there's things here that we're learning that we just could not learn anywhere else.
Could God just make me learn it? I'm snapping because
it would rob.
No, I wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? Like, yes, you could have just stayed in heaven. Like
like work with me on this one real fast. Like, I'm saying, like, God is like eternal, which to me means there is no time for God, which means we should already be at the end. And the way I imagine it, it would just, like, I would just be there and I would remember all of this crap, by the way.
Yeah. So the way we look at hell or damnation, it's just, you're not progressing. You're just kind of like, and that kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like, everyone's going to have the heaven that they want, in that Christ is going to take you as far as you will let him take you to reach your divine potential. Like, if God's the oak tree, you're the acorn.
Okay.
They're two completely different things, but they're of the same genus. Right? They're the same species. But there's a lot that needs to happen between acorn and oak tree. And so there's things that you will learn and progress along the way that it will take a very, very long time to get there, right? But
could God not just like implant it in me?
It would rob you the joy of getting there. You know, like, if you've ever accomplished something that was really hard to do.
Sure.
And you get there and you're like, wow, I'm so grateful that I made all those sacrifices so that I can experience this. There's like this added joy to it. Whereas, like, people that, you know,
yes, okay, but we're more likely talking about things that aren't horrific, right? I would never want my child to go through horrific things to learn a lesson. I always try to find the least horrific thing for my child to learn, right? So my kids, one is an adult, another one's becoming an adult. But my whole thing for them was to always train them, but use the least punishing thing possible. Right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, hey, I'm teaching you this punishment, but you're not going to freaking die off of it. I would never just allow my kid to face death to learn a lesson. To me, you're saying that God allows us to face death to learn a lesson. That's not a good parent to me.
Well, so the thing is, God, the plan that's in place right now that we're in is the best plan possible to achieve the outcome of becoming like God. So there is a price to pay, and God did not force you into this.
He
This
did,
was
though.
presented.
Did I choose to be born?
Yes, yeah. So in
Oh, you
archaeology,
believe that? Oh, okay. That's funny.
you've always
All right.
existed. So when God presented this to you, He said, "Hey, look."
So, all right,
You
hold
don't
on.
have to do
Time out
this.
for a second. You're saying there was Jay, there was a spirit, and Jay went to God, and then I said, "Hey, I want to do what?"
So Jay, we would say your soul or your spirit has existed eternally, which is
Yeah, but
very different.
did I go to God and ask to do this or what?
I would say God invited you to come, and God presented a plan to you. It was like, hey, look, if you want to continue to grow and progress and become like me, this is the way to do it. It's going to be hard. You're going to experience a lot of sorrow and pain.
How did God know that? Did God
And
experience those things?
God, yes, in the same way that Jesus did. So, because a lot of people will be like, "Oh, you guys believe God was once man." We're like, "Well, Jesus was once a man, but he was still God, and has always been God." So,
Okay,
I would say
now,
that Jesus, when he
like
got a body,
I
he experienced
think the one thing
mortality.
we have to do here. 1 second, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have to ask, how do you know all of these things are
Great
true?
question. Yeah.
Are true?
Yeah. So, I'd say there's a lot of evidence, and even with all that evidence, I still believe you have to have a divine witness from God if it's true. But let's talk about some of that evidence, right? Because I
Yeah,
think
let's
it's
give me
compelling.
the evidence. Yeah.
Yeah. So Joseph Smith, right? The year 1820, it's in America, first country to have religious freedom. He's looking at all these different uh, Christian churches. It's kind of like the big thing that's hip and happening in America. And he doesn't want to go to hell, so he's looking into all these faiths, and he's just confused at why all these different Christian denominations could take one verse of scripture and interpret it so drastically different. And so he's like, "What? This doesn't make sense. Why are there so many different Christian churches? If it seems like if there was a right choice, or if Christianity was true, there should just be one church, right?" So
Sure.
I think his dad was like Calvinist, and his mother was
So
Presbyterian or something.
1 second, real fast, because
Go ahead.
because you're saying that there should be one, but now he's like there should be one, so I'm going to make up another.
No, so that's not how it happened. Yeah, so as he was like trying to decide, like, what's right and wrong, he's reading in the Bible, and he comes, I think it's James 1:5, where it says, "If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, and he'll give it unto you liberally."
James 1:5.
So in essence, like, hey, if you're lacking wisdom, pray and ask God, right? So he goes to the forest, finds a private place to kneel down and pray and ask God, "Hey, which church should I join?" And of that prayer, two things kind of happen. First, as he's praying, he feels this like darkness come over him. and it like binds his tongue, and he can't speak, and he's like scared and worried he's going to hell for being drugged down to hell by this like dark creature.
Yeah,
and then
but
he pleads
wait, hold
to-
on, because I feel like I know some of the story,
Sure.
but just saying the story isn't exactly telling me
true.
how
I
it's
agree.
true.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I just, for other people that are listening, so they can.
Yeah, but I
'cause
know,
it's-
but like since like just to be
Anyway, so
fair,
he sings
since my
God the
time is
Father.
my time is short,
Yeah, I'll speed up.
because I'm not God,
I got you,
because my time
So-
is short. Like how do you know that this story is true?
Yeah. So after he sees God the Father and Jesus Christ, an angel appears to him, gives him these gold plates. So with these gold plates, he translates them with the power of God, which becomes the Book of Mormon. It's an ancient record of the people in America during when Christ was here. He also had prophets that he called over here to preach his word, and the resurrected Lord comes and ministers to the people in America. So
Wait, Jesus came here?
Yeah, so
Where's
like
that at?
it's 3rd Nephi chapter 11 in the Book of Mormon.
Right,
Awesome
but I get that you can give me a chapter, but where's like how do I know it's true?
Yeah, so evidence. That's kind of what you're asking for, right?
Yeah.
Evidence.
Like actual evidence outside of the Book of Mormon, by the way.
Yeah, so there's the witness. So we have the 3 witnesses and the 8 witnesses that actually.
Yeah, I do know about the witnesses. Okay.
Plates, held them, right.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 witnesses, they saw the angel Moroni, who handed them the plates, and they got to hold them and handle them. And then the 8 witnesses actually just no angel, just the gold plates, got to see the plates, and they wrote down their testimony.
Do you believe like Islam's same kind of story?
So it's I would say it's drastically different, just in that.
Well, no, but I'm saying like if I was speaking to somebody that was Muslim and they were telling me the story of how that came to be, can you recognize that they would kind of be saying the same things that you were saying?
So what's your understanding of how they're the Muslim?
So it would be like
What's the Quran?
So you have the Quran, right? Which is saying
is saying how that came to be.
Well, it's saying that because it's kind of what you're doing to me, right? You're saying like Islam is kind of wrong, and Islam was saying that Christianity was a little bit wrong, and it's just
I think Islam has truth in it.
Yeah. They say Christianity has some truth too.
Yeah, and
but they say it was corrupt. Do you think the Quran was corrupted? Sorry.
I think that it's got good in it, but we don't think any scripture is infallible, right?
Right. Well, obviously they don't either, right? Because they believe the Torah or the Torah in the New Testament, or sorry, more of the New Testament was corrupted. Let me be fair. I believe they actually believe in like the Torah, but the New Testament was like BS to them. Like Jesus was a prophet. Jesus was not the son of God, all of these things. Muhammad was the last prophet that was foretold by Jesus. Like Jesus said, somebody will come that is not greater than me, but I don't know the exact, actually I should look up the exact words. But either way, like, don't you see that Islam is doing the same thing that you are saying that now the Book of Mormon did, which is just add on? Right?
No, yeah. So we would say that we still teach the same gospel as in the New Testament. So, but
did the New Testament speak about Joseph Smith coming?
No, of course not. I mean, it's 2,000 years prior to Joseph Smith, or I guess 1,800 years.
Okay, so then how is what Joseph Smith said tie into the New Testament?
The Old Testament doesn't talk about the coming forth of Paul, right? Because
I mean, some would
wasn't
say
born.
that Paul was the one that Jesus predicted too, I believe. Because Jesus said somebody's going to come after him. Let me get the verse.
Yeah, pull that up. While you're pulling that up, so what I would say the main difference is, right, is, so for one, we have witnesses.
Okay,
We have a lot of
so
witnesses. Two of the
what was that? Oh, that's you
two of the
beeping?
three witnesses, and I think it's like 2 or 3 of the 8 witnesses actually were excommunicated from the church at one point too, and were even hostile to Joseph Smith, but they still, to their deathbed, never denied what they saw was the gold plates, or for the 3 witnesses, the angel of Moroni delivering the gold plates.
Mm-hmm.
So that's some evidence, right? Now the actual contents of the Book of Mormon. So the Book of Mormon, Joseph Smith dictated it in about 60 working days, business days, I guess you could. Because there was so much persecution, they had to move a lot. But of the translating days that he could actually work on, came out to about 60, and I think it averages out to about 2,000 words a day that he had to dictate to a scribe. So he was there. He had a seer stone in a hat. He was looking in the hat, and God was giving him the.
Wait, did you say a hat?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen like the South Park episode.
Yeah, but does that not sound a little bit ridiculous, man?
It does. It sounds insane to believe in something.
So why would God need to pull some stuff out of a hat, man?
Because Joseph Smith has a 3rd grade education. He doesn't know how to like write a book that covers.
I know, but we're talking about God here. I feel like we give God so much credit and then we make God weak.
I think
like when we want our stories to make sense, like we just make God weak, man. It's always the strangest thing to me. Like if God wanted everything to be the way God wants, none of this would be at all.
So
like we can make excuses of why, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, my answer to that, and as far as I know, this is the only theology that actually explains it, that can possibly make it make sense, and that's to preserve that realm of faith.
God is all powerful, man. Like there should be no rules. Like it does. Like what does it matter? Faith. What is like? What was going on? Like why does God need faith? Right? Like before humans existed, right? Did God need faith?
Have faith. No, so God needs us to have faith, right? So that
but before humans existed, did God need people to have faith?
No, yeah, you wouldn't need faith in the pre-existence, right? Because
so then why did God create some realm all of a sudden that needed things that had faith? Like that doesn't make sense.
In order for us to learn and grow and progress.
No, but we don't exist yet.
Yeah. So our theology is that you've always existed.
Oh, you did say that. Okay, that's fair to what you said.
Yep.
Okay. That's a little strange. It's a little strange to me. Like, so like.
And you got
So there was just spirits existing, period, right? And God is God is controlling these spirits. Like, is that what you're saying?
No, not controlling them, but inviting them to.
Did God create the spirits?
No. So we know that that God brought us into, like, we don't know all the details. Like all we know is that we we've always existed. We were known as like intelligences or spirits.
Wait, hold on. Did God create everything or no?
He organized everything.
So everything
Out of
already
existing
existed, which
chaos.
means God already existed,
Yes.
which means what created all of that? What made all of that?
When you say made, what do you mean by that?
Because you said, well, actually, you didn't say God made us. This is kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
What is everything in? Is it just the universe?
I mean, it's reality. Where God's, like, where his realm is and where he presides, we don't know. We just know we're trying to get back there.
Okay, I'm working with you here. Like God's trying to help everybody out, right? Which
Yeah,
to me
absolutely.
means like it goes back to what I was saying. There is something that I don't know what words to use. I always say scared. There is something that worries God, which would make it more powerful than God. Otherwise, God wouldn't create anything.
I don't think. I mean, I know God has emotions. Like he feels sorrow and happy. Like he's sorrowful when he sees us going through hard things. But he also knows that, for one, he's going to make it right for you in the end, and that it is going to build you up into a person that you could not have become otherwise, which is a hard thing because it's like there's some shitty crap that happens in life, right? That just is like, God, why? Like, there's a girl in our like homeschool group, and their 4-year-old daughter died, and times like that, you're just like, why?
Yeah, but do
Did
you
she
really mean why? Like I would mean why? Or do you mean why and then you come up with a reason that makes you feel better?
I mean, it for us, like,
Because
we
like
don't know
I
why.
ask why, like I would ask, like I had good parents, but let's just say I didn't. I would ask why, like, wow, Dad, you're shitty. There is no
Mhm.
excuse for allowing that to happen to me. I would not come up with reasons on why it was okay for my dad to allow something to happen to me when my dad could have done something.
Yeah. No,
And
I
I think
feel you
us
there.
as humans treat other humans that way, but when it comes to God, all of a sudden we're like, oh, it's different with God that God allows its child to get hurt. But you would want another parent to go to jail. Like if we found out, like your neighbor, like you
Yeah,
found out your
I get what you're
neighbor was
saying.
torturing their kids,
Mhm.
and like you would want them to get punished. Do you want God to get punished? Probably not, right?
Yeah. No, there's no doubt that God, in order to allow us
Yeah, but what if the
to
parent was like, "Hey, I wanted my kids to progress, so I allowed them to be tortured." You would not accept that.
Yeah, so there's the thing too, it's like he has to let us
Yes, but the parent would say that
he,
too.
he protects agency, so like he has to let us choose to
Yes,
be, like, we're free to choose good and
if the
evil, right?
parent said that, bro, what would you say? Like
I would say, why?
whatever excuses you're about to give for God,
Like, why do I
make
have to go through this shit? That's what
yeah,
I would say
right.
to
But
God, right?
what if they had a good reason? The parent, by the way, I'm saying like let's make it a
He
human.
does. Yeah. Oh, a parent.
Yeah, like let's make it a
So, like,
human, and they say
why?
every good excuse. Would you still think it was okay for them to allow their child to be tortured?
So, in our perspective, like in our realm, right, in our realm of responsibility, me as a parent, I'm going to make my kid do hard things and work hard so that he can grow and develop and have character, right? Now, from God's realm, because I'm not trying to make a God,
Let's
right?
stick to
I'm trying
the
to
human real fast, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a grown human adult, right? God's trying to make you become like him. And that requires a lot more.
I would say it requires a lot less because God is all powerful.
But he has to be obedient to the laws of justice and reality.
Man. Like I said,
right?
like we're kind of come full circle now. I think you are literally saying that there is something that controls God, and I think you admitted that a little bit. But I don't think you're saying it in this. I don't think you're saying it in the same way I'm saying it. I'm saying God is not all powerful now. And that is a different conversation.
By reality. Yeah.
Okay.
Because if it weren't that way, if God really is all powerful, then we do have the dilemma of everything you talked about. Like, if God has all power, why not? And God created me out of nothing and knows if I'm going to choose right or wrong, and I'm choosing wrong, why did he make me at all? Just to burn in hell for eternity. But you get all these problems if you have a God that's not limited by the laws of reality.
All right. I mean, we'll have to kind of like, I would love for you to talk to you again.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But I can appreciate that part at the end where, like, I think there's like a deeper conversation we should have. But
yeah,
God being limited, I believe, defeats the purpose of God. But I don't want to, like, I feel like we're going another circle here, but for now,
it's a hard thing to grasp. I get it. Sure.
For now, like, let's be cool there, Jacob.
Sure.
And
it was great talking, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in, man. I'll let you have the last word real fast. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, do you ever follow Jacob Hansen on YouTube?
I have not seen that. Is that you?
No, it's not. But he's a guy I follow, and he's a Mormon apologist or apologetics. He talks to a lot of different faiths, and just for understanding, and just because there's a lot of misinformation about what we believe out there, and it's kind of nice to hear it from someone that he does a really good job of articulating all of our beliefs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I look at a bunch of stuff. I put his name down in my notes, so
perfect. Yeah, look him up.
I'll take a look. But once again, for you, I appreciate you calling, and I'll look forward to you calling again sometime, man.
Sounds good. Keep up the good work.
All right, brother. Take care.
You too. Bye.
All right. Peace. Yeah, that was very interesting for me. There was some agreements, but like I believe everybody takes it in a different way. For me, I look at it as like, hold on, we need to really dig into some things if we're saying God's not all powerful. I get what Jacob was saying as far as what I hear is God is as all powerful as God can be. So it's interesting. I'm going to think about that one a little bit more. I know I've done some videos on the topic, and I don't just like to just say shit. Like, I'm not just trying to put somebody in a gotcha either. That's something that you'll find different about me. When I ask somebody to tell me their story, I am going to listen to their story, and I might come back in the next stream and totally shit on what the person said, but I'm going to go and think about what they said, because to me, this is all about being as honest as possible, not just trying to prove your point. So if you don't like that, it is what it is. Just get over it. But that's how I want to communicate with people. I'm going to listen to people's story. I'm going to ask questions. It doesn't mean I agree just because I'm letting them tell their story. We have to change as a culture, by the way. If you want to change anyone's mind, you have to at least care enough about their story. Because Jacob obviously believes his story, man. So if I care about Jacob, I'm going to listen to what he has to say. It doesn't mean I'm going to agree. I'm going to give my rebuttals, and I'm going to try to make Jacob think. Jacob's trying to make me think. And as long as we can be honest with each other, that is how the next conversation can happen, and an actual conversation. Not another conversation where he's just trying to prove himself right and I'm trying to prove myself right, where we both walk away from the conversation and are truly trying to understand what each other are saying. And I'll know for sure in many conversations if Jacob is not listening to me at all, like his conversation won't change the next time. Right? But if me and Jacob talk again, I feel like he should have a different kind of conversation if he listened to me at all. And you will be able to tell that. The problem with a lot of people nowadays is just like, you just want somebody to believe you right now. It's not going to happen, guys and gals. Like, that's not what's going to happen. We have to change the way we debate with each other and talk to each other, because you are not going to change someone's mind instantly. Everybody's got to calm the fuck down. Like, that's a problem with our society right now, is everybody's trying to make everybody believe what the hell they believe right now. That's not going to happen, man. So just try to be honest, calm the fuck down, and listen to somebody, whether you agree with them or not. Question the person, by the way. I'm not saying just sit here and shake your head and just agree. But like, listen to what somebody's saying. If you believe that what you're saying is truer than what they are saying, you should have nothing to fear. Listen to them. Question them. Make them think. Right? They should make you think too, by the way. If you're open, they should make you think. And now you go back, like I will go back. Everything Jacob said, I took notes. I will go back and question what he's saying and question what I believed before what he's saying, and still try to come up with stuff that is honest and truthful. And I'll come back to Jacob and I'll be like, hey man, I don't really have an answer for what you said. It doesn't mean I agree with you. And I hope he can come back with the same thing. And that's how I know we're having an honest conversation. I'm trying to teach people how to have honest conversations while disagreeing. That is the point of my channel. Like, we can have conversations and disagree and learn at the same time. So that is what I'm trying to get to everybody. So I'm not going to be like other places. I just want to be clear right that I'm like, I want everybody to know, like, if this grows and grows and grows, this will not be like other atheist channels. And that's just not how it is. Like, I truly am trying to have conversations with people because I want to understand why people think the way they think. And I want people to understand why I disagree with how they think and why I think how I think. We are one human species, and we have to learn how to build a society with everybody believing all the shit they believe. Anyone that thinks that you're going to stop people, like a whole group, from believing what they believe by force, you are just like the problem. You are like the racist bigots that won't listen to anybody. Like, you have to realize that that's not how it works. You cannot make yourself believe what you believe. Right? You can't. So it's just like, we have to find a different way. And I'm going to predict this. You're going to see other channels take what I am saying and use it. You're going to see all these atheist channels become nicer. Watch, mark my word. Like, you're going to see all these atheist channels start to listen to people and talk to people, because that whole brute force, talk shit about people, make people feel bad, will not work. Mark my words. Whether this channel becomes big or not, mark my words, you're going to see all these channels start to be nicer to people, because this whole anger shit will not work. Mark my words. Watch what happens. And I want you to clip that shit, because when other channels that aren't like me start being like me, start letting people talk, start being nicer, I just want you to remember this. Whether this grows or not, remember this shit, because that is the future. Not being an asshole, none of that shit. The future is really trying to talk to people, really trying to understand people, realizing you will never convince someone. They will convince themselves. And in order to do that, you have to be kinder. You don't just make fun of somebody's beliefs. That won't work. Like, it's not going to work. And like I said, mark my words, all these other channels will start doing what I'm doing. And you will see. You will see it. Like, the being an asshole atheist is not going to work, guys. I'm not even an atheist, by the way. Like, I don't claim to be that. I just don't know what the fuck's going on. So, anyways, yeah, Buck, I'm about to end too. That's like my final little speech. We'll clip that. But I just wanted to say that because I believe you will start to see other channels becoming nicer. Like, watch. Like, I promise you, watch. And it's because any logical person will realize just being a hateful asshole is not going to change anybody's mind. So, anyways, I appreciate the callers. Thank you guys for calling in. It was like super awesome. I had some like very interesting conversations today that I'm going to go think about. I'm going to rewatch this and take notes. But I thank you guys for calling in. I really appreciate it. It's been a good Monday. I'll be streaming tomorrow as well. I'll find a different subject for tomorrow. And so it'd be Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and then that's the for sure dates. So thank you guys very much. So as always, I'm Jay. Don't forget, open up your minds, throw away your feelings, and question your beliefs. So thank you guys. Peace.